laughing and loving with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome to Lara FM TV, also known as SPTV. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for being so patient and sweet. Not last minute, because I just know that this angel goddess was going to make it happen. But we have a special guest that I've been wanting to chat with and everything. Oh, I totally forgot to put mascara on, guys. Uh-oh. So we have a special guest, which is so perfect because today's episode, we're talking about the protesting and we're catching up on everything and SPTV and all sorts of greatness and stuff that are going on. And I see some amazing people in the chat already. Hi, Liz. Hi, Sandy. Hi, everybody. All right, here's my VIP guest. We are bringing on the one and only OGSP, Tory Christman, also known as Tory Magoooooo. We did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
Even though on my side it says stream this to your audience.
So click that. So right now you should click on that and then it will automatically go to your audience right now.
But then it's going to make me sign up for free. I have to re-sign up. So I don't know if it looks like
wait. Click on it and let's see what happens. Will it make you start?
I already did click on it. Okay, I clicked on it and
then it should make you fill out something like
I have to sign up for free or log in.
Oh, darn it. Tory Tor. Okay, well, I think you would have to log in. Do you have your login info and all that right now or no? Okay.
I just did sign up for free. And they gave me a little code. Do you want me to do that?
For signing up for free?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not? Because it would be good for this one while we're chatting about all this for people on my channel to know your channel and all that. But also so that your people on your channel can actually, like, they can hear everything we're doing right now. As long as you sign up on it, it should just link right into your account. So see if it'll do that. Do you want to work on that while I chat with people?
Yeah, you chat a little bit and I'll try to do it.
So I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about Tory because this was so fun. When I was leaving, also tell me if you guys can hear me. Is everybody in the chat? Y'all can hear me good? You can hear me good, Tory?
Yes.
Okay, good. And to help her monetize her channel. Exactly, Kyla. Yes, thank you. Hi, Danny. I'm so proud of you guys. Danny and Leah, you guys are so awesome. I think you guys are on your way right now, right? To Chicago or something. So cool. Thank you so much for your sweet love and support. And same with, he goes by Selfless Self. That's another one. He's been drumming to my music and I was listening to all of his knowledge this morning on his live stream and he just started his channel, Selfless Self. Go look that up. It's so cool. It's so cool. I think he's on the way there as well to Chicago or somewhere to support that stuff going on. So this is so fun because Tory, they never had this, right? In your
no.
In your days where there was all
this is, it said location and I put YouTube. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Location, exactly. YouTube. Because sometimes you want your Facebook or other things to be attached to it. So you just, if it says YouTube, just put your YouTube and then I think you'll just sign in as your YouTube that you're right now on and it should link it right away. We'll see. If Mandy McGee was over there, my mod, she'd be able to help you in a second. Same with me. Actually, I should just come over there and I should help you on a live stream one time over there so that you can see how everything works on your end. That'd be interesting.
Right.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for your love and support and all your, it's just so cool. Yeah, how the new protesters right now are doing things that have never really been done before in terms of just the whole different generational change, like the internet and all that stuff wasn't working as much. I mean, wasn't as popular, obviously, as it is now, like than it was 20 years ago or whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to catch up with everybody. I wanted to, I know, right, Mandy? Oh, sorry. Mandy says, yeah, I wish I could show her on a screen share. Exactly. So maybe we can all do that. If I'm having problems when I come help you, Tori, then my mods will help me while we're there.
Okay. All right, good. Because I'm like completely now it says my YouTube is verified.
Good. See,
Should I
you are entering into OT level 3.
should I exit out of that now?
It's verified, I think so, yeah, and so go back and see if it'll just log you in or whatever. This will be so
It's
good, guys.
23 minutes and 23 hours and 59 minutes until you can stream. Ah, shit.
That's great. So you know what? You know what that means, Tori? I think you already have enough streaming hours because you already have videos and hours of people watching your videos. I think there's already enough watch time on your videos. So I think you just literally approved um your stream yarding. So I think that now you're able, like in 24 hours, you'll be able, they just have to make sure it's you, like, you know, otherwise anybody could just sign up and have a YouTube account. I think you have to just wait 24 hours. And then did you already do all your AdSense and all that, your Google AdSense to get paid and all that for monetizing?
No.
See, this is another thing I think for you to accept.
Now this is too much. I'm just going to do this with you. And
Okay. What does it say? What was it just saying now?
I'm going to have somebody come over and help me with this because it's not rolling along. And it's like, I don't want to waste
No, you're so sweet.
time.
Okay, no, you're not wasting anybody's time, by the way. Tori, you know what? When I first started freaking doing YouTube, I was muted for look, go back and I'm sure people have already seen this, but I was muted like for the first 4 minutes of me just blabbing to myself and not knowing how to use the chat. And people were like, you're muted. We can't hear anything. Oh, man. I mean, imagine what that puts on somebody just starting something like this when they're trying to get some sort of relief of being heard for once in their life. And then you're like, oh my God, I don't even know how to turn the microphone on.
No, that happened to me. I started making videos in 2000 with Mark Bunker.
Yeah, so I was going to say that to our chat. I was watching you and Mark Bunker, and I told you this, Jason Begay, and I was working for Grant Cardone when I was watching Jason Begay's these YouTube videos that he's putting out, and I was like, or I think he just put out 2, and I think, wasn't it Mark Bunker or somebody the one filming him?
We were up at his house.
You were there.
Yeah, he mentions me. Jason says, Tori, right?
Yes, yes. You know, that's right. I just didn't put it together because I just didn't know the connection. That's so crazy. And this is why I've always looked up to you as this chick reminds me of like a family member of mine. I feel like you're somebody that was like, no, fuck all this shit. And like, oh, is that Osa again? You're just kind of like, oh, I'd rather be away from you and attacking you than being a part of you or worrying about if you're going to scare me with your methods. Like, I just love that. And I feel like, I mean, I'm realizing even now that these people like you and Mark and even Jason Begay and Jenna Miscavige, I couldn't believe when she came out with her book. After all that, you know what I mean? All this was just the steps of getting somebody like me who was so deeply brainwashed and programmed from before birth. Like, before
I know. And remember, imagine this. Everyone that is speaking out now, except for Mark Bunker, was still in when I left. So the entire internet started attacking me because Osa jumped on right away and said, don't trust her. She's a secret operative. You know, she's working for Osa, you know, all this. And everybody bought into it except Andreas. For 24 hours, I had one person and my son that would talk to me. That was it. Everybody else.
Was your son ever deeply in Scientology?
Not really. I never really trusted Scientology. You know,
that's so funny. That's what I mean. Like, so I was trying to think of like what my connection is with my father and my mother. And it's like, they never gave me even the option of like being slightly out or not really on course or whatever. Like, no way. That was never an option.
It started with the first kid who killed himself, which was Kasowitz, Jeremy Kasowitz. He hung himself.
Okay. I have a question. Is he related to Jody and Dustin Kasowitz?
That I don't know. I don't know I know the mother and father.
Who's the mom and father?
I can't remember their name right now. I'm really bad with names.
Wait, was it Bobby Katzowitz?
Bobby Katzowitz.
And
Yeah.
she's the mom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole nother story, but continue.
Whole
Okay.
nother story. So she found her son, he'd hung himself.
Wow.
Oh my
Oh, wait,
God.
I have to tell you this. I have to tell you this because I can't not think about this. I was, like, manipulated into dating Dustin Kasowitz, the
Oh,
brother, when I was underage, and I was anyways, he made me feel bad and wrote another KR. He's like, "I'm gonna write a KR," when he knew I had a non-interpolation order and I had left the Sea Org, and so I
right.
was so afraid, like, "Oh my God, don't write a report on me, I might get declared," and so I felt like I was so manipulated into dating this man that was way older than me and, like, took advantage of, like, just manipulated me, and so I know that whole family because I dated Dustin, and they never really talked about his brother. And
Oh,
when I tried to leave Dustin, one of the things he kind of not kind of, I need to be real. Like he manipulated me with and used against me was, "Oh my God, my brother killed himself." And I was just like, "Okay, okay, we won't talk. I won't break up with you." Okay, so now you can continue. Sorry.
it's all right. I'm glad you said it because I have a long-standing thing with my son. I'm not going to drag him into all this, so I'm
Right,
not
right.
going to even go into it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
One
No, no, no. Yeah, I
that
want to
was
hear.
like a big change for him. So I had my son and Andreas were talking to me. Osa is attacking me. It felt like the whole world was attacking me because anybody
Wait,
ever
so why wait, you have to finish. So why was Jeremy involved in this? The brother that hung himself.
only because it made me go talk to my son and say, look, if you don't want to do this, just let
Oh,
me
okay.
know. I
Okay.
said, if you're going to kill yourself, it's not going to be one death, it's going to be two because I'm going to be dead 5 minutes later. And he started laughing. We went to SeaWorld. I took him to SeaWorld and I said, look,
Oh my
something
goodness.
awful has happened. You know, someone you know has killed themselves. I mean, it was awful to tell him. And he was upset about it. But then I said, you know, I think this is my religion. But, you know, if people are killing themselves, I don't want you to feel like you have to take your life to get
Mhm.
out of Scientology. So if you don't want to do it, which is really monumental because most people never do, they never give their kids that choice. But
Right.
I did. I just
Right.
said, you know, if you don't want to do it, just say so. And he said, I don't want to do it. I've watched you guys for years. You give all your money to Scientology, your whole lives to Scientology. I don't want to do it. So I said, okay, then that's it. Just don't tell anybody because they'll all disconnect from you, right? Which they ended up doing anyway. But anyway, he was out before me. I
Right,
wasn't
right.
woke up. I escaped out, I think, I don't know, 6 months later or something. I fully woke up and escaped out. So
Wow.
that's what he had to do with it. And so for the first 24 hours, it was really Andreas that was talking to me. And everybody else was saying, I'm this, don't trust him. They were telling Andreas, don't talk to her. You know, she's really evil. And of course, 3/4 of that was Yachty, you know, who's the guy that got me opening the phony accounts, which if you don't know about that, I've made tons of videos about it.
Yeah, I was in the middle of watching some of that, and, I think there was somebody that, uh, had that name was under recently that, like, what do you call
Bill
that?
Yachty?
Yeah, I think, like, the building or there was some, some, old applied scholastic building or maybe there was something where the old name that was under whose name it was in, like, who the sale was for the building or something was under a name like
I
that.
wonder if they sold the old enhancement center. You know, that's in the
I
van.
I'm gonna look it up, and now these are little I go back on my videos and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, what was that?" I'm like a little detective like you.
Yeah, I think they changed it to the Church of Scientology, Sherman Oaks, but it was originally the Enhancement Center, and that's where all the celebrities went until Miscavige took over, and then he went, "Okay, that's it. You know, all celebrities have to go to Celebrity Center. Forget about the Enhancement Center." And anyway,
And
that's
now
the
they
whole
have, there's an org in North Hollywood, I don't know if it's like they call it
no, it's
Burbank
on
or North
Burbank
Hollywood.
Boulevard. Burbank Boulevard.
Okay,
Yeah,
but it's in
I
North Hollywood, right?
I maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I just know it's on Burbank Boulevard and it's empty all the time. I've gone
But
by
it's
it.
pretty big, right? It's, like,
It
right
is.
there on that corner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, And they just recently had a big event there, or am I thinking of something else? Like, they
No,
just
I
had a
think
big
you're
event
right,
that
and
we all went there.
I think a
And
bunch of people picketed. You know, I
yeah,
didn't
and
know
they
about
were playing "The Flag Is Here" song to try to get it,
yeah,
which they did, they shut it all. Okay, good. So I was there for that, yeah. And
okay.
I was and I always felt like, "Wait a minute, this always had a strong presence in terms of, like, celebrity Scientologists or executives, you know, like, this was
No,
the
that wasn't the one. No,
no? Okay, so
no.
this is, like, the newer one that
This is the
that
newer
has
one.
become
It didn't have any presence. It's they just bought that building
yeah, they're just like, "Here, this is
and
the a
it's the
Scientology
ideal
building."
org, you know, and they, you know,
Yeah,
it's another grand opening.
the ideal org. Ugh.
But anyway, so from just to finish my beginning thing, so
Yeah.
everyone's in. Mike Rinder, Leah, you
Mhm.
know, you can just think of anybody that, you know, Karen, you know, all the people that have YouTube sites except Mark Bunker and Andreas, who had xenu.net, xenu.net.
I
And
remember I was so afraid to type that in.
I know. I know. Imagine me sending an email to him in my dining room. My computer was in my dining room.
Oh
And
my god.
he had said to me, Magoo, no one can understand you. He sent me an email and he said, no one, you know, back then, I just have to give a little bit of history. Back then, there were no websites. This was in 2000, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
everything was linear. So
Yeah.
someone would post, L. Ron Hubbard's a liar. And then Yachty would come on and say, that's not really true, as Joe Smith, right? And
Mhm.
nobody would say anything. So then he'd come on as Mary Anderson and say, why are you talking about L. Ron Hubbard? And he'd just keep posting shit until finally a real critic would come on and go, yeah, you're right. You know, I golf too, you know, like they'd be talking about golf. And that would be their thing. Their thing was to distract off of Hubbard, DM, or the church, right?
That's
So
amazing. They're still doing that
I
definitely
know that.
in our chats. Like, they're for sure doing that, and they're doing it to people like DOA and to, you know, Jessica Palmadessa and Streets and these people that they don't know because they were not born in the cult, where people like me and you will know the moment there's somebody in the chat
Not
and
true.
you're like,
So many people
"Ew."
that are in the cult go, because Yachty had two, I opened up 10 accounts for him, 10
Okay.
phony accounts. And I didn't know what he was doing. He said, I'm not going to tell you because they'll get you in deposition and they'll keep you in deposition. And I was like, ugh. And he said, you don't want that. And he was my auditor, you know, so he
Oh
knew
my
my
god.
buttons, right? And so I said, no, I don't. And he said, well, so just open these accounts and I'll handle this shit. And I said, okay. So, you know, two of them were like OSA, right?
Uh-huh.
And he
Yeah.
made them very obviously OSA. And people all the time go, oh, I can tell that's OSA, right?
Right. You can't really tell. I just mean when I see a repeated pattern, I screenshot even people that I think I'm like, why would somebody even say a little comment like that when the purpose of like this episode is to talk about, you know, like
Right.
it's like, what? Wait a minute. Like, even so, I see,
Okay.
I spot it,
Okay.
but it's super hard for others. And that's why I'm like, Tori, let me mod for you. You know, there's certain people where I'm like, let me protect you because you deserve it. And I have a little bit of a faster brain on this like criticism, like sneaky crap. And I also used to be this little messenger chick for Mike Rinder and the executives during the whole Lisa McPherson case. And then I was a CMO programs operator in Clearwater. So I just know all of their little tactics, even when they told me, oh, well, we can't, you know, you can't have this information. Literally, like, this information, that would mean you would probably have to go to court and you're underage. So we want you far away from that. So they would have me doing things like shredding all the documents, doing like running messenger things and ironing their uniforms before they go to bed. And then I would have to wake up before they woke up and wake them up and get them. And I was like nonstop. And I was doing things that I didn't even realize, like, this is literally how they get away with all these little details that are so important. Like,
Right.
like having an underage minor shredding legal documents coming straight from the lawyer, Mike Rinder's hands, right into a bin that I was the only one allowed to be shredding because
Right.
I had no idea what the hell I'm reading or looking at. But when you start to go anyway, so it's interesting when these are great things for people that are listening to know. Like there are tactics, just like, oh, you know, somebody makes a little, just a common thing, or sort of associates a story that you're talking about with golfing or whatever it is, and you kind of feel like you have this DOA says this a lot. You have this parasocial relationship with somebody that they're watching you all the time. And so they know how to get really into there to make you feel like, oh, it's a casual thing. It's not that big of a deal. Or they just don't know, or, you know, no, it's very sneaky. OSA is very sneaky.
Very sneaky. And they only have 3 main goals. And I only found these out towards the end. But the first one is to distract off of anything against Hubbard, Miscavige, or the church, which that one I knew.
Right.
The second one I didn't really realize, but I put it together. It took a while. But the second one is to divide and conquer. So it's to get each, and I think he even told me that, because his whole thing, you know, it's like, I can tell you now, because it's sort of like, that's sort of mean to do that. But remember, I'm not reading the internet, so I'm not getting the feedback of people, right? I'm just believing Bill. Right. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll get them all fighting with each other. And I only found out because, do you know what IRC is?
IRC.
It's Internet Relay Chat. And it's a thing that they had back in 2000.
Okay.
It's another thing. It's sort of like, think of a bar where, like Friends, where everybody comes in. It's like, hey, Laura FM.
Right. Like a little chat room or something like that.
Only it's on the internet, right?
Yeah,
so Dottie goes, come on in my bedroom or my office. I want to show you. He had a little teeny house in Studio City, and all this shit went out of that. And he goes, come on into my office. I want to show you this. And so he's typing away, and they're typing away, and he's typing away. And I'm like, I don't really understand. Look at you. I don't really understand the internet. So I'm like, I don't really get it. Right.
Yeah. I still don't get it.
I know, but I mean, this was really weird.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. The things 20 years ago, I just can't, are totally, the tactics even physically were different from OSA because the times have changed. And even just alone with the internet, like one of the main things I always say that just, just to put L. Ron Hubbard down as a total moron that he is like, he predicted, we're going to go on this ship and we're all going to, you better get, but never once did he mention the fucking internet. He never mentioned some internet ever. And yet the internet is actually the thing right now, just through communicating through this internet, is destroying Scientology. It's breaking it apart. It's breaking it. Anyway. So yeah, the times are so different, but there's so many key things just like that. Knowing how OSA thinks, how they would get somebody to get into that level.
Because
yes, continue. This is perfect. Me too.
Really important. So he's typing, they're typing, he's typing, they're typing, and all of a sudden he jumps up, he lights a cigarette, he goes, bingo, that's it. And I go, bingo, that's it? What? It's what? What are you talking about? And he goes, oh, believe me, these guys are going to be fighting for all day. You know, if not a week, if not a month, you know, I got it, you know, so that's it. And I'm sort of like, that's kind of weird, right? So things are getting weirder for me as I'm I wasn't on staff. I'm just a volunteer, right?
And what level were you?
OT7.
OT7. See, so they get people, no offense at all, that are completely like Grant Cardone's completely brainwashed. His whole attitude and blood and character is a Scientologist. Period.
Let me finish. Let me finish, because I just got to finish these 3 things. There are 3 goals of OSA. So he goes, bingo, they're going to be fighting forever. So you get that divide and conquer, right? And we see it now. You see it now, where people just and you know, and they're like, oh, perfect. You know, let them do it. This is great. They're not saying anything about Miscavige, nothing about Hubbard, nothing about the church. Perfect.
They're just arguing between each other.
Yeah. And the third one was slime the area completely. And I said, why would you even do that? And he said, honestly, when something is just all trash, nobody wants to put their name on it. And that has happened. Many different things that we used to hang out in have come and gone, right?
Yes, like La Poubelle.
Did it go?
No, but it's going. And we're smearing it. It's just an interesting tactic that is actually used, but You're like trying to smear somebody like who, Tory or me? Like at this point, we don't care. At this point, we're like, try to smear us. We've already said all this shit about us.
Are they
We've already
smearing us?
no. I'm saying if they're smearing, no, if they're going to attack somebody, they're going to try to attack somebody who doesn't know, people who don't know. They're going to try. They're not going to go after you. They've already tried when now that we have.
They've tried so much with me. It's
They've done
ridiculous.
so much with Tory. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
They put out a 25-step program to muzzle Tory. That was the goal, to muzzle Tory. And Marty Rathman gave me that. This was back when he was in, he was on our side, and everybody was following him. And everyone was like, "Hail Marty, he's so great." And I was like, I know all these guys that left way, way, way before Marty Rathman and Mike Rinder.
Right.
So I started going on there and saying, look, there's people that left in the middle of the night all alone. There was no internet. There was no connection, nothing. So I want you to understand, yes, it's good that he's doing what he's doing, but there's he's on the shoulders of a lot of people who've done stuff for a long time, right? And now I forgot what I was going to say because you're smoking.
Oh, sorry. You were saying that the people in the past who have done things before. So like the OGs and Marty Rathman who went back. But
okay, so I kept posting stuff just saying there's other people, right?
Yeah.
So right. I think that's why he sent me the thing. He goes, open up a Hotmail account or something like that, some kind of account. And I had to have some secret code and all this shit. And I'm like, okay, this is really weird. But anyway, I did it thinking, I thought he was going to bawl me out. It was like going to the principal. I thought he was going to say, get out of here. You're not an independent, you're not for the tech, just stay off my thing. And instead, he sent me this program for your eyes only. And it was a 25-step program. You can look it up. You can Google it. But it's a 25-step program of how to go, get my husband to go to the Better Business Bureau and get people working at my job where I worked and do all these covert shit, to muzzle me. And so I just posted it right on the fucking internet. I was like, great.
See, that's what I mean. They're idiots.
Everything they do. When I first started my YouTube site was in 2008 when Anonymous arrived, right? And for me, my analogy is like I was being raped in an alleyway, or like fighting the church by myself with four other people.
Totally. No.
There were four people that would say their names, which was, Larry Wallersheim, Jerry Armstrong, Arnie, and me. And maybe there were a couple others, but that was it. Everybody else had nicks, but they wouldn't say their name.
Right.
So we were out there, and I kept saying, that's where I got the TikTok time is on our side, because I just kept thinking someone's going to fucking talk eventually. You know what I mean? But it was like no one would talk, and they were just attacking me and lying about me. They had hired Diane Richardson, and this chick lied about me all day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for years. And people would buy into her lies. And I'd be like, it's Diane Richardson. Come on, guys. It's been a long haul for me. So you guys are heaven for me. I am just like in heaven.
Which is, this is why this is so insane to me. Like, it's so right after the stream, I'm going to make some food, have a little, smoky tokey, and go to Big Blue and protest. And then maybe after that, take a look and go to La Poubelle. Like, that's how I feel, because to me, holding a sign, my proud SP sign that says Scientology disconnection equal, elderly abuse, all the child neglect is equals Scientology. But the thing is that it's so upsetting when the people that were executives or the people that were there, like yourself before us, not you, you are amazing, but there are some that have this entitlement, this like not loving, sharing, understanding, healing, that we're all healing this together. And if you did shitty shit, fucking, you're absolutely never going to get away with it. You better start saying it all right now, because this is the thing. It's like, you're going to be a better person by saying everything you did, not what you still feel bad for.
Bingo. It is so true. And the thing is this, if you look at my videos, I've made 900 videos, and that's what I did. It's just sort of like no one was talking about this shit, right? And so
nobody was. It was weird. Like, I joke around on my these, my peeps on here are watching. By the way, I see some people saying, "Oh, Tory you should link her channel." She isn't live on her channel, correct? Yeah, I know that.
I'm working.
We're working on it. This is amazing that we even got set up that she's here and her computer's working and everything.
This is amazing.
But to see they're excited, Tory. You're amazing. You're gonna be so awesome. I will watch every single old video you did, and I will watch all the new lives you do, and I will help you moderate. And if I have any questions, I have really amazing people that will help me do, whatever I don't know. So
I'll help you guys in any way I can.
You already are. So that's what I was gonna get back to. So this is so when I at the movie, when I finally saw you, we went to what is it called?
Jeff
Brothers. What is it called?
Yeah, Brothers Broken.
Broken Brothers, right?
No, Brothers Broken.
Okay, Brothers Broken, and it really cool, guys. If you haven't seen it, you can look it up. And what's his name? Jeff Levin is just look up Jeff Levin. It's GEOFF Levin or Broken Brothers. And if you see Jeff Levin, then you'll know that's his thing. Really very cool, sort of hippie-ish style documentary. And I mean that in the way of it came from their lifetime, like the 70s and the 80s and that time and the 60s and stuff and it was really amazing to watch that. But anyways, it was amazing to watch it because it was from the era of L. Ron Hubbard days, and people I don't know, it feels like now that I understood that era, I understood how my mom and dad in their ways were also getting involved and thinking, oh, this already established thing, in 1978. All right. Madeira, Toronto, Oregon. They already feel like this established thing from other people their age are already into it and they're already doing it. It looks like the new thing. And oh my God, they have this machine that helps you become free. Like this is all I don't know. It just made me feel like even the hippies or whatever you want to call them, even people, even me today, if I was born in that era, I would feel like, whoa, this is a new thing. This is like a new yoga, or this is like a new, oh, maybe. And you can easily get carried away with a man like L. Ron Hubbard, who was so deprived for whatever reason. He had to then get attention and control of so many other human beings just to fulfill whatever,
It wasn't that. He said in the 40s, if you want to make money, start a religion.
But what was happening before that? I've learned a lot.
I'm not saying he didn't have shit going on, but I'm just saying that the whole thing of Scientology, every aspect of it is based on money.
Right. No, 100%. Yes.
And once you realize that, you're kind of like, well, wait a minute. You want at Christmas, that guy, I said, let's go by the complex. And we went by there at LA Org. And this guy comes out. Oh, look at your cat. So cute.
That's Bubs. Bubs, come say hi.
This guy comes out. First of all, this guy comes walking down the street. And you know how empty it is, right?
Yeah. And
the guy comes walking down the street. And I say, hey, man, what's happening here? Because they had all kinds of lights out, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, I don't know, but they got a lot of nice lights. And I thought, okay, he's a Scientologist. And so I asked him, I said, are you a Scientologist? I've been doing that forever. If I think somebody's a Scientologist, I just ask them. It doesn't matter.
That's what I told Chris without a Hellcat. I said one of the greatest things he does with his little sweet, charming voice is he just goes, excuse me, sir, are you a Scientologist? It's just simple, because if they're proud of it and you're asking in a nice way, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm ready to tell you how great it is or whatever. And you can just ask them. And if they're not, they'll be like, no. It's either that or not. It's like both extremes.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Now I forgot what I was saying.
It's okay. I do that all the time, and people do that with me all the time, and then I help them remember. You were saying you straight up just ask them, "Are you a Scientologist?" You're just, because you would be walking around. You would be talking to see.
Something else we were talking about before that.
Protesting. I wish we could just, okay, mods. No, actually, Mandy's really good at this. Mandy, what were we just talking about right before that? She does this for me. Everybody does it for me when they can. They start to get to know me and they're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. We were talking about Christmas lights walking around. There you go. Christmas lights walking around.
Okay.
Are you a Scientology?
Okay, so let me finish this story.
See?
So
This is why my chat is great.
I say to the guy, thank you to her.
Thank you, YRB, whoever that was. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
J-Bat.
we pull up. The guy walks up. I say, you know, what's up? He says that they got nice lights. I think, okay, he's a Scientologist. And I say, are you a Scientologist? And he goes, oh, hell no. I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness. And I said, well, what are you doing here? And he goes, oh, my friend is in there in LA Org. And I go, what's he doing in there? And he goes, he's taking a personality test. And I said, come on. I said, okay, call him up, get him out here. So, and I started a live video.
Wait, did they have cell phones? No.
Yeah. This is right now. This is this
Christmas.
I
thought you okay.
No, this is this Christmas.
So he gets, you say, call him
he
on his cell phone
his
right
friend,
now.
he goes, come on out. And I start the live video on Facebook. And you can scroll, it's back around Christmas time, but it's on Facebook. You know, I thought, fuck it. I'm gonna do a Facebook.
We'll put it, in fact, we'll put it on, Tori, I'm gonna help you put it on your YouTube so people can watch. Oh, there's that Christmas video she's talking about.
Ooh, okay.
That's what I do with all mine, so I don't have to think. I can just be like, oh, and if I forget shit, then I got my chat to remind me.
Okay. All right, good. So basically,
so Christmas, boom, he's coming out.
To the guy.
Yep.
Comes out. He's a wrestler. And I'm making this video, but I don't want to put him on it because, you know, I haven't asked him or anything. And he goes, are you making a live video? And I said, yeah. And he goes, put me on it. And I said, okay. So I put him on it. And he goes, here's my personality test. And he shows it. And it's like up and down and up and down. And he goes, yeah, they really think I'm nuts. So they want me to buy $5,000 worth of auditing. And you can tell he's about ready to do it. And I said, okay. And I say a few things to him, which I'm not going to say here because I don't want OSA, you know, my own little things. But anyway, I said, basically, don't do it. And the guards come, which is why it was so monumental when we did the protest. There were no guards. Why were there no guards? Because you all were there with your cameras.
Yep.
And I know what happened. That one guard told me to get off, right? I had never if I set my foot, that's why I did the Field of Dreams thing, you know, and remember what I'm talking about.
Wait, when you mean Field of Dreams, what do you mean by that?
If you watch the movie Field of Dreams.
I've seen it. I actually just watched it recently. So I'm like, what do you mean?
So remember the baseball guys come out of the cornfields.
Right.
So then the one guy is going to go and join them. And he kind of puts his hand into the cornfield. Like just
testing the waters.
Is it real? Can I get in there? You know, that kind of thing. So now I'm at Scientology and they're like, you can't come on our property. So I'm doing the Field of Dream things. I'm just putting my foot,
like,
you know, just like an inch over their line. That's it. And they'd be right there saying, we're going to call the police. That's it. Get off our property.
Yeah.
So that's why when we were protesting Saturday, and I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go sit on the fence. I just kind of knew they wouldn't do anything. So I sat there for a while. I mean, normally they'd have guards there in a second, right? And so nobody came out. And then finally that guy came out and said, you're trespassing. And I said, look, I'm a senior. I'm sitting here for 2 minutes. That's it. And then I'm going to leave.
That's a good one.
Right? It's the truth.
But also, I'm a senior is a legal thing, period. And a security guard doesn't know. They might, I don't know what to say.
So I'm just saying I'm sitting here for 2 minutes and then I'm going to get up. And that's what the conversation was for most of it, right? And so then at the end, I finally get up and you see me talking to him. And I say, look, you know, do you understand that I was in this for 30 years? And he starts lightening up. You know, it's sort of like, whoa.
Right.
And he you know, they've told him I'm an undercover, top secret, covert CIA.
SP. Yeah.
Which that guy had told me. Let me get back to that. But anyway, they have told him that. So that's all he knows. I say, I'm an OP7. I'm a grad 5 auditor. I'm a flag intern sec checker, right? And he goes, really? And he you know, it kind of freaks him out because he had no idea of that, right? And I said, look, why don't you come join us? And that was the rest of the conversation. I'm like, you can leave right now. You just have to walk down this sidewalk and you're free. You're out. That's it.
That's intense. That's intense.
I know. And so there was that conversation that happened. And
so this person, Sweet Lily Love, is asking what happened with the wrestler.
Okay, so with the wrestler, they're trying to get the $5,000. The security guards come up.
They're trying to get the $5,000.
Right, they want the $5,000, man.
Always money, like you said.
It's money. So I say, look, I knew they were going to take them inside, and I said, look, they really hate me, just so you know. So they're going to tell a bunch of lies about me. So he goes, okay, and he sounds real like no big deal, right? He goes inside. They lock the doors, and I say to his friend, why don't you go in and see if you can go in? And he goes up to the doors. And he goes, they got the doors locked. And we're like, oh, my God. I said, you know what? Call your friend. Get him out here, because I was worried about him. And so he comes out. He goes, he's kind of white, right? He looks kind of freaked out. And he goes, wow, they really hate you. I said, I told you.
Yeah.
So anyway, he didn't give him the $5,000. I call him the next day. And just to make sure he's okay, he's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to Japan. That's it. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I said, you know, just out of curiosity, what did they say to you? Because I'd never seen someone look quite that bad about them lying about me.
Right.
And he said, well, they said you're an undercover, top secret, covert CIA agent. I just burst out laughing. I was like, what, are you kidding me? So I'm now upgraded from SP to CIA agent.
But not only that, I think they actually believe it. I think they think you are actually in the CIA, and you are one of the people that are corrupt, that is in the organization that will take them down. Like, they are so paranoid.
That other lady said that, who I forget her name. It's, you know, she does the morning update thing.
Natalie Webster.
Natalie. And she made up this whole, you know, scenario that she says they said. And either someone said that to her or she just made it up. But I need to know, because that is not true.
What was the scenario?
Well, the only reason why Tory left Scientology is because she was a covert CIA agent.
Oh my God, no.
And I'm like,
I feel like Natalie would have verified that with you.
She didn't.
That's crazy.
I know. And she said it on her video, and she wants to interview me, and I'd like to do an interview with her, but
she's amazing, and you can clear that up, and she will be like, oh snap, no, and she'll tell you where it came from. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I have fought this shit for 30,
that is hilarious.
40, 50 fucking years with people going, well, wait a minute, aren't you working with OSA?
Yeah,
and I'm like, how many fucking times do I have to tell you, morons? No.
Idiots. You know, she's the OG, man. Like, like we've been saying, she was out when it was uncomfortable, and it's still fucking uncomfortable. I'm not going to minimize people trying to leave right now at all. It's only not uncomfortable for us because we are out and we already went through the hell. It is a thing, though. Whenever you leave Scientology or Sea Org, it's going to always be horrible. It's going to feel shitty inward. It's going to feel shitty toward your family. You're going to start realizing things that you don't want to be seeing.
But there's a lot of good sides to it, too.
But as it's showing you the truth, it feels shitty, but it feels so healing. It feels like, now I don't feel as upset. Now I don't feel as like broken. I don't feel as misunderstood, or not knowing why is something so empty. Why do I not understand why my mother and dad never chose to choose me? Like, so many things. And now it's just, you know, even hearing other the people that are part of SPTV community that never were in, and that were never had anything to do with Scientology, but heard about stuff about Scientology when they were a younger kid in the 60s and stuff, and how they were making fun of it as a joke back then. But now they can't believe that this shit has gone this far, and they're hearing the second gens and everybody's stories. And they're going, I can't not pretend that I wasn't already not okay with it 50 years ago.
Right.
And so they were never in, but they have so much strength, and they have the outside knowledge. So it's like, this whole thing is such a such a healing heart. The whole thing is like a huge heart of healing. And whether, you know, some people want to be on this side and not be somebody's friend, it's kind of, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't like somebody. Or
I finally had to find my own center. I really did.
Me
because
too.
it was just like I was doing that, you know, like
trying to like please and say, no, I beg you, please believe me.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that. We're exhausted.
I started my YouTube site in 2008, which was when Anonymous arrived, and they took on the Church of Scientology, a section of Anonymous. Let me clarify that. Someone explained to me they're like a pie, and a section of them took on the Church of Scientology.
Right, exactly.
And Mark Bunker showed up and put this webcam on my desktop, and he said, "This is from Anonymous." And I said, "For what?" And he goes, "We're going to start a YouTube site." And I said, "For what?" You know, I was just like,
You're like, how does this work? What do you mean?
What are you talking
this is
about?
too much.
And he goes, well, I said, what are we going to talk about? And he goes, well, we'll make a video. Magoooooo has a YouTube site. And right away, Osa was in there, you know, don't trust her, blah, 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 you know, yachty. And I made the second video. I think it's the second video, one of them. And I said, you know, I'm going to tell you something, Osa. If you fuck with me, I'm not like the rest of these people with, oh, it's free speech. I can't ban them. I'm going to fucking ban you. That's the way I am. I mean, I believe in free speech.
Tory, I just said that the other night on my thing. Oh, you know what? It started with DOA's. Actually, I've always been like, you're like as you said, how I could see. I spot it. I'm like, don't come into my chat and bring up anything. Don't even talk about Doritos when I'm fucking talking about lemons at all. Do not bring. Otherwise, what is your actual point? Like, so actually, I don't want to know. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, never ever come in here. And I tell people, do not come in here and bring up politics and some other random left field fucking thing or right field thing, whatever you want to call it. And when it has nothing to do with this channel and my music and art and YouTube, it has nothing to do with this channel and what we're talking about. And so I very much now am loving the fact when somebody shows their face or something, I'm like, I tell the whole chat, everybody say bye. And I say their name out loud and their comment and everything, even if it's horrible, I say it so they know, they can hear it. And I go, feel free, guys. If SPTV community, feel absolutely beautifully free to ban somebody. Just delete and ban. That's it.
And I'm going to give you an analogy on it because it's totally separate from this, but I think the listeners will understand it. There's a lady named Maya. I think it's D'Angela. Do you know her? She's Oprah's best friend.
Okay.
Anyway, she has a Sunday brunch, and she gave a talk on this and said, "I give a Sunday brunch every Sunday."
It's not a celebrity center, is it?
No. She has nothing to do with Scientology.
Okay.
She's
weird. I always feel like Oprah has a little bit to do with Scientology.
Whatever.
Okay, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I'm positive Oprah has Scientologists working with her. Not that she wants to, not that she knows it. They're just covertly there. So she's always choosing Tom Cruise and John Travolta. And
because they have a little ear.
Of course, they never, you know, they block all of that, you know. So I know that's going on. But anyway, this other lady has nothing to do with it. She doesn't like Tom Cruise or John Travolta or anything, but she's a poet and an author. And so she gave this talk about having the Sunday brunch. And she said, here's the deal. If anyone makes any kind of racist comment, she's Black, right? And she said, if anybody makes any kind of racist comment about anyone, whether it's a joke or a story, it doesn't matter. They are escorted to the door. Goodbye. And that's how I feel about my YouTube site. It's like, you want to fuck with me? Goodbye. That's it.
Literally, me too. If we could high five, you need to high five your camera. There you go, guys. Everybody in the chat, high five. That's why I get along with you right away, Tory. And when I finally met you, there we go, full circle from the beginning. When I finally saw you, when I saw you at the film thing, it was hilarious because I was already kind of buzzed from the wine and just so joyful to see all these ex-OGSPs. That's just all I could think. And then seeing the film, and I think I went out and I was like, I was going through so many emotions. Yeah. I went out to get my third or second glass of wine, my white wine or whatever it was. And I saw you and I was like, yes, I was like, oh my God, I caught her on a bathroom break or something. And I was like, I'm a huge fan of yours, Tory. And it's so funny because I don't use that word fan lightly. I don't even see myself going up to like, good musicians and saying like, or people that are really famous. I wouldn't be like, I'm a big fan of yours. I wouldn't, because there are other fans that are way more fans of them than I would be, even if I knew their music or whatever. So, but when I said that to you, I started laughing. I started like laughing a little, like, no, I mean, because I've been watching you forever. You're famous. I think I made a joke. I was like, you're famous. And you're kind of like, okay, great. Who are you? Or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that was hilarious. And I was like, yeah, I totally thought of my friend Michael and Serge when they're like, Lara, sometimes you're so excited. You just sit down, give a hug, and people don't understand the background of what it is.
No, I've had it ever since I made.
But you got it. You got it right away. You just were like, okay, cool, awesome. We took pictures. She was like, hey, and then your group of people that knew you were like, come in here. And I was like, oh, good. Yeah, we're all taking a picture. I just felt such like a bomber of the OG. I was like, let me bounce in here. I loved seeing you. And then I don't know if you remember this. I invited you to my show and you were like, I'm a night owl. Cause I was like, well, it's a little late. I was like, it's like 11 p.m. And you were like, I'm a night owl. That's perfect or something. And I was like, oh my God, I love her even more. Yeah. So there you go. So when I saw you then again, after the film and when I saw you again, as I was walking up to the blue building, you guys will see on my live stream, as I was walking I had walked past and then I was walking up and I saw you sitting right where you were just explaining.
Right.
You were like, I'm elderly. I need a 2-minute sit here. Right. And I was just going, what the fuck? I already knew who you were. I was like, what the fuck is Tory doing? How the hell does she think this is acceptable?
But see, here's what happened. I came walking up while you were walking your way, right?
Right.
You saw, I walked
and
up.
I also was like, I bet you she doesn't remember me. I probably just that cuckoo girl at the movies.
I remember you. No,
okay,
I remember you. You're not forgettable.
Okay.
You came walking up, I came walking up, and they had like 10 cameras on me, right?
Right.
Everybody was filming it.
Yes.
And so then I thought, now wait a minute. None of the, because usually they have the guards on the bikes. They're there in a minute.
So
right?
you had never been to another kind of org or something where you had seen like, oh, wow, they're shutting everything down. The security bikes aren't even out here.
I've been to everything.
No. I'm seeing right at the blue building recently. You were like,
been there. Yeah, I am.
So you
I saw it. I took pictures. It's on my Facebook site. I have photographs of all the buildings shut down. So I knew that.
So, but you thought that they were going to come out for you, though. Like, that's what I would think.
I would come out for me. It's just,
I would think so.
I know, but I'm just saying, having all the blinds shut and having no security are two different things.
Right.
You have to know how much I've protested. I've protested.
I do. I know. I promise you, you're amazing.
People that don't know, I've been protesting since 2000. That's 23 years, right? So I know their shit, right? And I know what they're going to do. And they always are there to say, get off our property. It's against the law. I mean,
they used to get very aggressive.
I have my declare, right? Where I'm declaring.
Finally, you brought it. You brought it. Okay, wait. We need to, I'm going to just have you on. Oh, nope. There you go. Here. No,
you.
Wow. How do I make it just you? They don't allow that. That's so rude.
Don't worry.
I want it so that they can really see your thing. Oh, here, I'm going to remove my.
Here you go. This is it's, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's, my married name was Bazazian, so I'm suppressive. But here's the most important thing. On the back, it says her only terminal. Where's my finger? Okay, right here. Her only terminal. What does it say? Let me read it. Her only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief. There you go. There it is in writing. I've shown this so many times that Pete in Ireland does a shot every time I show my SPTV.
Oh, we should all do that. That's amazing.
I know, because nobody has SP declares, and that's why I got it, because I knew Jesse Prince told me, he goes, yeah, nobody has them anymore.
Yeah.
So
What year was that?
it was 2000. And I flew to Florida, and then I came home. And when I walked in my door, my entire house was all gone. Everything that I owned was gone. And my husband looked like somebody had killed him or something. It was really weird. And he said, you left me. And I said, I didn't leave you. I left a cult. So now I want to get my receipts because I want my money back from Flag, right?
Right.
This is in 2000. So I call Flag and I say, I want to talk to the finance guys. And they go, well, who is this? And I said, it's Tory Magoooooo. So they put me through to the Continental Justice Chief. And she's like a little 18-year-old girl. And she goes, hello, this is the Continental Justice Chief.
Oh
and I said, okay, hi, this is Tory Magoooooo. And what
was this in Florida? Like the Florida IJC?
He's in Florida. I'm here in LA.
Okay. Because they made me, because I was in Florida when I got declared, I was never going to do it, but it wasn't IJC Florida, it was International Justice Chief, because I was at the Int Ranch and all of that. They were like, oh no, this SP came from birth.
Right. Well, anyway, they put me through because I called Flag. I didn't call Nicole.
Right. And they're like, your terminal is IJC. So they transfer. Yeah.
Via the international justice chief via the
Continental, right.
She's a little 18-year-old girl. And she goes, you want to know why you're talking to the Continental Justice Chief? And I said, yeah, I really would like to know that. Why is that? And she said, because you've been declared suppressive. And I said, well, you know what? I really wanted to piss her off, and it really worked. I said, you might be too young to know this policy, but L. Ron Hubbard wrote this policy. If it isn't in writing, it isn't true. And she got really pissed off. She goes, you know what? I'll have it to you in 24 hours. And I said, okay, I'll believe it when I get it. And she FedExed it to me.
That is so amazing.
And that's why I should have done it. Because I thought, and I have a copy. I was like, no fucking way, man. Because they were breaking in my house and shit like that. So,
oh my goodness.
I mean,
you know what? You could take a picture of that for me. Literally, even on are you on your phone or your desktop? You're on your desktop? You could take a picture of that right now and just text it to me, and I'll pull it up. How about that?
Yeah, but then you're gonna it's all these lies about me, and people will believe.
Honey, Tory. This is what the best thing is about live streaming and shit. People, they find out everything in terms of like there's things like whatever we were being threatened with as like being able to live normal human lives, whatever that threat was, that fear of being like, oh no, I won't be able to do that, or I'll feel so bad my next lifetime won't be. They need people. I wish I had my declare order. I would be being like, look, I know there was something like she was promiscuous, I'm like, yeah, I fucking was. You better damn right I was.
See, here's the thing for me.
Because she was squirreling the tech.
No, because I did so much shit as a young person. I was a hippie. I was into drugs.
What do you mean, Tory? You're talking about like threesomes and all this stuff? Because I've done all that.
Three thumbs?
Threesomes.
Oh, I think I did try one threesome one time. I did.
See, I think I did. That's so
good. And I tried being gay. I did. I tried that. Just for fun.
So then did these?
What happened is I went to college and my college roommate was a lesbian. And I thought,
oh, how exciting.
Around a totally straight, I never knew any gay people ever. And so I was like, oh my God. And she goes, oh man, there's thousands of gay people. And I said, I don't believe you. And she said, well, you don't want to stay at this college, do you? And I said, not really. And she said, me neither. Let's go move to New York. So we moved to New York for her to show me the gay community. And it was fucking awesome.
That's amazing.
Like, they had these secret looks, right? And she'd go in, and I'd be outside, and she'd come back out, and I'd say, don't tell me that person's gay. And she'd say, oh, yeah. It was just like fucking everybody was gay.
So I felt like that. I have such a similar connection because I felt like that coming out of the Sea Org and not knowing fucking anything in my life. Like I was in the cadet org at the Int Ranch my whole life. Like what? I just realized my Lara FM radio sign is not on. I'm completely, but it's Tory. We're in our bubble. I just realized there's so many lights and stuff that I didn't put on, but it's perfect because now we're both dark. And my purple matches. Did you see? I've made my purple light match your beautiful streaked purple hair. Okay, so what was I saying before I forget?
About just so I finished my gay thing. I only did it for 6 months, and then I found out about it was the Summer of Love in San Francisco. And I said, you know what? I'm not really into being gay. It's not my thing. I really love men. So you be well, good luck with your friends. I met all these models that were gay, and I was like 60 Minutes going around like, why are you gay? But it made sense because I'll say this just for men.
60 Minutes. Why are you gay? Tell me why you're gay. What makes you different?
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful women. And I'd say, what happened? Why are you gay? It's just like so weird.
I feel like, but that's what I mean. There's so much correlation between this because when I left, I was like, what is gay? What does that mean? Like, I'm like, oh, well, if it's love, then like, couldn't I also love a woman? I had to be like, so I mean, that would be horrible if I couldn't love a woman. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, so that means I could be gay. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many weird, oh my God. And so the correlation of the whole, also then seeing my dad react to a gay guy when I was out of the Sea Org stuff, and then sort of like, being in this crazy world with no help from my dad, even though I'm sure he thinks, oh, I try to help you as much as I could. In the Sea Org, what are you doing? You fucking just let you're 17. Anyways, unbelievable. Mom and dad. That's coming next. I keep avoiding this. Maybe you can help me, Tori. I have to do a live stream where I'm writing. It's almost done, but I'm trying to add any last things, a letter to my mother and a letter to my father. And I want to do a live stream, and it's specifically for my dad and it's for my mom. But I feel like I need some sort of elderly help, not in a rude way, in a loving way.
But if you do it live, they're just going to show them. They won't let them hear it, but
there's no way I ever will, because even if I mail them a letter, I've done this. I keep sending just random letters here and there and cards, and I know they're not getting any of it.
Okay. So then you're
like, fine. I just know they're not. Okay. So I just feel like, why not just send make these letters very exposed and popular, just like they've opened and exposed our lives from day one. And tortured. Like, why not just be like, okay, well, here's a really deep personal letter to both my mother and my father. And it's very intense and good, but it's also helped me get through a lot. I just got emotional for a very quick sec. Helped me get through a lot. And I feel like somebody like you, who is a mother, who has a perspective of being like, I don't know, I feel like instead of being alone doing it, I feel like, I don't know, maybe my follower, my people would want me to do it alone, but I just feel like it would be safer to do it with somebody that it has a mothering figure,
Yeah, no, I've helped a lot of people with their parents and kids and stuff. So yeah. Now I forgot where we were though.
Oh yeah. Somebody keep us back on. Shit, something, because I said I'm gonna write a letter. Somebody keep it. Chi, were you the one? Somebody keep us back on. What were we just talking about before that? Before the letter.
What do they want to know about? Because maybe they don't care about what we were talking about.
Oh, they do care. They love it. They would. They love it.
They can always go to Tory Magoooooo 44.
Yeah, we're gonna put all this up
and subscribe.
Also, I want to see if I can show your channel. That would be good too. Oh yeah, communication with your parents. That's what opening letters and things like that. We were talking about being able to write letters and whatever. So I just think that since they're going to destroy every letter, there's no way I can communicate to them. There's no way I can.
That's a whole different topic. That we were on something else.
Okay. Orgies and being gays. That's what it was. See, Mandy.
Okay. So then I moved to San Francisco and became a hippie. That's what happened. And I became a hippie, had fun, just partied, a lot of music, all the greatest musicians. I mean, I would walk into a bar and Janis Joplin was there playing and singing. And it
That's
was like,
amazing.
50 people and her. It was amazing. It was really an awesome time to be in San Francisco. But anyway, that's how I got into the cult, because I was doing drugs and I got sick, and my parents flew me home to Lake Forest in Chicago, which is a suburb of Chicago. And one of my friends gave me the Dianetics book, which I still have, the original Dianetics book. And, from that, I thought,
You still have the original Dianetics book?
Mhm.
I've been looking for that. I asked somebody, I said, I don't want an altered version. Somebody's like, nope, I got it. And then they sent it to me in the mail and I got it. I'm like, this is not the original. This is so annoying. I really thought I had it. You have
Yeah.
it.
You can get it on
I can
eBay.
rely on you. Yeah, but that's what I did. I did do it, and it wasn't the original. It was the one that took out that gay people are 1.1 permanent on the tone scale. And
that's in Science of Survival, just so you know. That's what that is. And I know that because I have epilepsy, which is a neurological illness, and Hubbard said
I've learned about this. Yeah.
And neurological illness are both 1.1. So I always say I'm in the same category as people that are gay, because Hubbard was like, they treated me awful. I'm amazed I stayed as long as I stayed, but I stayed because of my husband and my son and my friends. That was it. People always say, like, why? Because really, Scientology, for anybody watching that doesn't know, is like a triangle, right? And the higher up you go, the more freedoms they cut off. That's what actually happens, because you're expected to back up David Miscavige. This guy told me this. My husband finishes OT 8, and he goes, look, Miscavige is really pissed off at all the 8s. And I said, for what? Because most of us were in debt from paying all this fucking money to get there, right? And I said,
I wasn't, but I know what you mean. Outside public and people that were joining the Sea Org were still kind of in debt to the because they recruited it from being a dedicated Scientologist, an OT5. Oh, now you're going to join the Sea Org, and you still have the debt.
But this was what he said. There's only 2 choices that the OT8s have. And I said, and what is that? He said they can join the Sea Org or open a mission. That's it.
That's right. I remember this. I remember
and this is what I said to him. Good luck, pal. It was like, ain't gonna happen. I knew the 8s, and most of them.
Did you ever do? I keep meaning to ask you. This is I feel like my teenage mind kept here. Were you ever in the FSM office in Flag? Like, were you ever like?
In what office?
In just at Flag. Were you ever part of any committee or any? You were, right? That's why your name is so common.
Well, I was,
and how you look and everything. Your face is so familiar. It wasn't that I was just a fan. I was like, oh, this person's face is familiar. And so I started watching you.
Yeah, the critics in Ireland pulled up. There's a whole video of me when the new OT5 rundowns came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were there then. And I was like, the new OT5 rundowns. And I'm like, so
you were like
excited.
This bubbly, like,
oh my God. And that's a whole Scientology video that somebody can find. I can't find it, but the critics found it, and they played it in Ireland when they flew us over to do a talk in Ireland, and they played it, and it upset me so much. It's like you never know what's going to trigger you, right? And they laughing at me, I just burst out crying. And why was I crying? Because so many people I knew, I'm going to cry now if I do it, were alive then. You know what I mean? And they're dead now. And it just made me cry thinking, people don't realize, the torture that many of us went through in different ways, different levels. And then, me knowing, I knew, the Kasowitz kid hung himself. My son's best friend, James Dries, who isn't on that list that Liz made, he shot himself to death the next year, right? And his mother was my friend. And I said, Vicky, I took Justin to SeaWorld and talked to him about Kasowitz and hanging and suicide. And she said, oh, I never thought about talking up to James about that. So that's why I'm mentioning it, because parents need to talk to your kids, because that age group, it's 18 to 26. Almost all those kids, I know 17 kids that are Scientologists now that are dead because they took their own lives. 17.
That's insane.
I only knew the Kasowitz kid, James, Philip Gale, and there was one other kid I knew when I left. And that was too much for me. Excuse me, right then. It was just like way too much. No one should die
It's
because,
too
and if you're listening to this, if you're in Scientology, you call me or call Lara FM.
yeah.
We'll come get you. We'll pick you up. We'll bring you. We will help you. You know,
This
it's
is
like,
this is my SPTV hotline,
there you go.
323-898-1335. If you have anything like that, if you're like losing it and you're like, okay, that's it. At least before I kill myself, I'm gonna go to the SPTV crew and see if like
Not
what is,
take your
please.
life.
Yes, don't
Do
do
not.
it. There's a easy way. There's so much love and
So
freedom.
simple.
So much love and freedom on this side. But yes, that's
Yeah, and
so
just
when
so
we were
people,
doing the Scientology, protest with the scroll around Celebrity Center. I don't know if you saw that with
I saw it. I saw the video.
um
I didn't get
yeah,
to see it.
yeah. No, no, no. That's what I mean. It hit me there when I saw names of people that I'm like, oh my God, so many people have unalived themselves. So
Right,
many people, so many kids before they were even living the rest of their lives out of Scientology. Their whole lives were more inside Scientology and in the
right.
Sea Org that
Mm.
they didn't even have enough processing time to live long enough to bear their like feelings of how they felt about themselves, that it was easier for them to go. It just like
Yeah.
I lost it a little bit
Yeah. So it's very important that we always mention that, keep staying alive and call us and we'll come get you.
yeah.
Because inside, I call it the Truman Show, right? That's my analogy. Because when I first left in 2000, all these critics came up to me and said, how could you be in something for 30 years and not get it? And I said, have you ever, and Jesse was there, Jesse Prince, who used
Yeah.
to help run Scientology. And he was an avid critic at this point. And they say, how could you be in something for 30 years and not get it? And I said, have you ever seen the Truman Show? And they went, oh my God. And I said, that's Scientology. And Jesse said, Tory, you're the first person who's ever gotten these kids to realize the depth of insanity of Scientology so simply. Because
Yeah.
they spend half hour, this and the RPF, and they're taking all the kids and all this shit. And I was like, fuck that. Go watch the Truman Show and then come talk to me. It's like it's too, all that other stuff is so complicated for a regular person to understand. It's like, how could you possibly do that? But you
Yeah.
watch the Truman Show and he didn't have a choice, just like you didn't have a choice.
Exactly.
You were in the show, right?
Yeah, it's literally, and not only that, I had never a reflection of another world. It
Right.
wasn't even a show. I was like, no, for me, I thought I was given this honor of being born in the Sea Org. That
But
for me to have another choice that wasn't, even if I was fun and oh, I can dance and I can be a Sea Org member and be in the Golden Air Musicians, then that would be my fun and joy, because I would be so degrading if I left the Sea Org.
okay, but you see, that's how Sea Org guys are. You think the Sea Org was a Truman Show, and it was.
No, Scientology.
No,
Scientology.
but I'm just saying, it isn't like we had a choice. That's what I'm trying. That's the point of the Truman Show.
What do you mean
Truman,
by we? You mean the people in
anybody in
planet of
Scientology,
Scientology? Right,
anybody
right.
who's in Scientology, once
Exactly.
you walk in the door, you are
Y
in the Truman Show.
Yep, that's
And
true.
it is designed and built and run by people that are making sure you don't leave that show.
Right?
Right?
That's
No matter
100%
what.
true.
Right?
That's 100% true, and this is why it hit me so hard when I was watching Streets originally to, talk about the testing center, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is where their little holes are, where they get in and they have, there's literally like, Odo and all these security guards could be at the door and they could be blocking inside or out, but like for them to exist and to continue to be, they have to have outside like predator. They're a predator organization, so they have to be sucking out of some outlet.
Right.
And so it's just like, oh, here's one of those outlets. And the testing center on Hollywood Boulevard is one of those outlets. La Poubelle, when we're opening that up, going, why is the owner of La Poubelle so deeply connected to the rape allegations and the convicted felon, the fucking criminal of Danny Masterson, and Scientology and in the LAPD corrupt, covering all this up? That's why it's nasty. That's why it's, it's exposing my overall thing, and we'll go back, but my overall thing is like anything that you go where you find a hole, whether it's big or small, whether it's little La Poubelle or the big celebrity center or the blue building, whatever it is, or the testing center. Once you find those little holes, you're going to go, oh, hold on, let me investigate. You're going to see what it's doing. It's sucking and using and manipulating and taking and taking. And honestly, for what fucking reason, Tori? For what reason? Like, for David's ego, or L. Ron Hubbard's dead now. So like, I just don't get it at a certain point. I have like really, I look at my parents and I go, really? You've lost me. You've lost me. You've lost my son. I mean, your son, my brother. I'm like, you've lost so much. You've lost like really good friends. You've lost connection to the outside world. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So it also makes me go like, they're never going to get out. They're never going to see it. And so I have to be harsh because I lost it already. Like it's already, you know, I've done everything. Did you see when I saw my dad? There's a video of me. I saw my dad when I was protesting one of the first nights that I went out and I saw Streets. I was like, Streets, nice to meet you, Streets LA. And I was like, I've been watching your videos. I was like so scared to come out, but I was just like, F that. I'm doing it. After I did my first protest with Eat Predators, I just felt connected. Like I love that idea. Eat predators. I was like, yeah, they've just been predators. They're just like predators on people all the time. Family, people from out of the country. Like they just suck. And for what fucking reason? Just because this gross idea, like this man, L. Ron Hubbard, just came up with this thing and he's like, oh, this feels great. And look at us and woo. And now it's turned into this fucking, what the fuck are we doing? Why does this still exist? And why are you getting attacked, Tori? Why are people like you getting attacked so hard in such a quiet way? Because nobody in the world knows about this until you like expose it. Like, I'm getting attacked. Like
no. I'm not really getting attacked now. I'm
not saying that. This is for everybody. I am saying for when you were saying you felt like you were in the alley getting raped and nobody could hear you, or just getting
still anonymous in 2008.
Right.
That was it. And I you know, it's like I can't thank them enough, the guys that were there, because it was like they came online and they said, this is anonymous. We're gonna show, you know, you don't own the internet, because they leaked.
I watched all those. I was like, oh my God. I would think, are they gonna read the OT materials? Am I gonna explode?
Okay. I won't say it, but
no, go do it.
You have to remember, people watching you don't necessarily know it.
They don't. Yeah. Go.
That's why I'm saying if it's something that we bring up and you know it and I know it, but many people watching may not know it.
Absolutely.
And the anonymous thing, I think we need to at least say what happened.
Yes.
And it's like they leaked a video of Tom Cruise. Scientology said, get it off YouTube or we're going to take you down with our attorneys. And Anonymous popped up and said, fuck you. You don't own the internet. We own the internet, the people. And we're going to show you how we own the internet. We're going to shut down your website for 3 days. And back then, this was 2008, I was like against hacking, and I thought they were going to hack into their computers. And I thought it was OSA. I didn't think it was really anonymous. I thought it was OSA pretending to do this for a whole different reason that I won't waste time going into. So I make a post. This is just OSA they're full of shit. So they call me the same night they posted, this is anonymous. They call me in this room. I'm here, and like the phone rings and I go, hello, and they go, this is anonymous. You know, open up. You know, it was like Skype back then.
Open up this link.
I open up Skype. I'm like completely freaked out. It's like, who are these people? I open it up.
I would be so freaked out. Oh my God.
It was like about 8 or 10 young kids, you know, they were like in their 20s. And I won't say what they were planning on doing, but it wasn't a good idea. And I said, look, you guys are way out of your league on this. These guys are highly litigious and they will put you in prison. So we got to do, and they said, well, what can we do? And I said, let's do something totally legal, which is protests, right? If we do a protest, they can't arrest us. They can't kick us out. You know, we have every right to protest as long as we're peacefully protesting. So They say, okay, we'll meet you at the complex. And I meet like 5 guys, and there's a video online of me doing this. We walk around. This is LA org. This is ASHO. You know, I tell them we walk around the whole thing, and they go, okay, we're doing it. We'll have 500 people here on February 10th. We've been picketing with 10 to 15 people. So I'm thinking 500 people.
Was the February 10th Lisa McPherson birthday? Is that why you
Yeah.
guys did it? Okay. My birthday's the 12th, so I'm always like, Lisa's the 10th. Is that why?
That was right. And I can never remember if it was the day she died or if it was her birthday, but I think it was her birthday.
Her birthday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we walk around, we do it. They say, okay, we'll have the 500 people. So I say to Bunker and Peter, who you met on Saturday.
Yes, yes.
Let's take the subway. We'll just subway there, and then we can, you know, move around, and we don't have to park cars and shit like that.
Yeah.
So we get on the subway, and there's 10 anonymous with the masks on and all black, and the rest of the subway is like this.
What?
You know, they're like completely freaked out. Like, what are these guys doing?
Oh
and I walk out with my little, you know, I have my stop sign that Frank Oliver made for me years ago, and it says "Stop Hurting Families." Scientology, stop hurting families. And I walk out with my sign and I say, ladies and gentlemen, these people, we're with these people, and we're protesting the Church of Scientology, just so you know. And they all go, oh, thank God, right?
Oh my God, that's so cool. Like that,
we think this is anonymous. It's 10 people. It's 10 more than we've had. That's pretty good. We get off at Vermont, right by where we were. We walk up to where we were on L. Ron Hubbard Way, and there are 500 people. 500 people with picket signs and stuff and cake and all kinds of shit. I mean, it was a fucking party.
Were you crying? Did you cry?
No. I was just so happy to see them. And they were like, I had said I have a video up that you can go watch called Magoooooo Dancing in Boston. It was the very first video that Bunker made of me. I didn't know it. That's why I got declared, because he put it up on the internet.
Okay.
Years ago. But they took that video and just put it everywhere around the world. You know, it was just, and I was just like, what happened? And they said, you know, you're the only video that was up. And in that video, though, I say, believe me, to Mike Rinder, I say, there are more people out here than you can imagine. And you need to come out here and talk to them and you know, get their side of what's happening, because it's different than you think. Right.
And I'm talking said that. You're saying that to Mike.
I said that on the video on Magoooooo Dancing in Boston. I say it on camera. They're filming me. Wow. And I talk to Miscavige, and I say, and then I talk to Mike Rinder, and I say, Mike Rinder, you need to come out here and talk to these people and find out what they have to say. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they put that all over the world. So for the first 6 months, it was like Magoooooo in Brazil, Magoooooo in, you know, England, you know, it was like, you name it. I was all over the world. It was really amazing. But it turned out there were 9,000 people in almost every major city in the world were picketing. It was incredible to see.
That's amazing.
It was. They put together a whole video with all these different, that's where I cried. You know, it was like Scotland, you know, Brazil, you know, it was like LA was just one of the places. It was just so fucking great. And Bunker and I said, you know what? If these guys were smart, they would just leave these kids alone. They're young kids. They'll be gone in a week, right? But if they do what they usually do, and they fuck with them, they're going to be here forever.
And L. Ron Hubbard says attack. L. Ron Hubbard says attack anybody who attacks. So you know, they're not going to not. That's part of the dumb policies.
They had to. They put up one of the anonymous kids. They found their name and address, and they started walking down the street with it. And I said, "That's fair game." And they all start running after him, going, "Fair game, fair game, fair game." You know, it was a really wild time. It really.
Oh my God, that made me so teary-eyed. That is so wild.
The second picket, they had up a gigantic theater at the end of L. Ron Hubbard Way.
That's what I want to do.
Playing Tom Cruise videos the whole day.
Oh my God. Wow.
So no one inside the complex, because back then there were people there and they didn't want them to hear it.
Right. Why was the Tom Cruise video thing? What was that? To like let them be able to just relax and watch a movie?
Oh God, no. You know, they're just trying to shut us up.
That's
And
what I
this
mean.
is
So they were just
500
playing
people
taunt.
yelling and screaming and signs
Oh
and all
my
kinds of shit.
god.
They were just
What
trying to
did
block the whole thing so no staff could see out and go. And this was one thing that happened that I loved. One of the times we were out there and we're protesting, and I come home and this lady calls me and she's crying. And I said, "What's up?" And she said, "My daughter's been on staff for years at LA Org, and I've been trying to get her out of Scientology and nothing has worked. And tonight she called me and she said, 'Mom, all these kids are out there. They're having so much fun.' And
Oh my
she said, 'I
god.
could be with them.' And I realized that I could be with those people. And she said, 'Just come pick me up. I'm done.' And it just meant so much to me. I get chills to this day.
I just got chills, and
I
that's
know.
why I'm gonna cry. That's
I
why
know.
I have the proud SP sign, because
I
I'm
know.
like, it's so fun, and I wear these bright colors to be this, like,
Yeah.
shining light of just, and then I'm like, "I'm gonna just be myself and hold the sign," and all of a sudden it becomes fun, and then I
Yeah.
have my chat, and that's exactly full circle, like, the whole point. You're like, "No, stop being afraid of all this fear, all these
Right.
lies, all these fucking all your money, your life, your family, everything is just
Yeah.
being
What am I
stolen
gonna
from you."
do if I
Yeah,
leave?
"Oh, if I leave." Yeah.
Yeah.
"It's
And here's the
amazing
thing,
out here, leave."
most of the people are out now. So when you
Yeah.
leave, it's really shocking. For 2 years, Spanky and I would drive around and she'd mention a name and I'd say, "Well, they're still in, right?" And she'd say, "Fuck no, they left
No.
20 years ago." It's
Oh
like,
my
see, it's
god.
all secret. They don't say who's left. So you don't
Right.
know when you're in, oh, they moved to Clearwater or they're helping their
Oh,
parents,
yeah, I was
stuff
gonna
like that.
say when I found out I got declared, it was because my brother told me. He was in Texas and they're trying to get him to do, I don't know, they were like, I think he had just finished Narconon and whatever, and they were like trying to have him work for some Scientology company and it wasn't working out. But they were like, "Oh, you need to go to the org. The ethics officer needs to see you." And he's like, "What? What did I do?" And they're like, "No, no, no. It's just the NA just needs to have a lunch with you." So they like, I guess he went and had a lunch with somebody in somewhere near the org or something, and they handed him my SP declare order, the
Oh,
goldenrod, and,
is
and they
he
were
still
like,
in, your brother?
"No, but he's also, like, not doing he's just in his own, suppressed life in the middle of just not doing his life at all."
Where is he?
He's in a junkyard in Sunland,
Well,
like,
let's go
just
see him.
well, no, he has like alcohol issues and stuff. With not issues, so he just needs help from not somebody like me, like
Yeah.
his sister. He needs somebody. You know who would help him really? Which I think who would help him is Mustard, Jamie Mustard. That him, somebody like him who can almost be like a father or an older brother
Yeah.
almost. I'm
Yeah.
the youngest one,
Yeah.
so I'm like so it's more like I probably make him feel shittier every time I'm around or whatever. But
I
yes, isn't guys, look at Tori. Tori's like, let's go save your brother immediately. Let's go right now.
Come pick me up. We're over to Sunland.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I mean,
I mean,
I'm
we
like,
could do that. We'll talk about that more. We can work some. I would love
I mean,
that.
we can go talk to
I
him.
would love for Jamie Mustard to be I have talked to her. I'm like, I have a boundary because I see
Yeah, but
where
I
he
said
goes.
we. I said we.
Totally. But also maybe it would just be, yeah, it would be interesting to see. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Jamie Mustard would be interested in that. Sterling Tompkins could probably help him since they were sort of knowing each other, from the Int Ranch and Gold Base and being in the
Oh,
Sea Org. I don't
oh,
know. I'm just thinking of things that not coming from me because
oh,
I can't, I've overstepped my own boundary trying to help him and it's not doing anything. In fact, it can help a little and then it makes it worse because his issues aren't being addressed as they should be. And so
yeah,
I just feel like I'm not the terminal for him and it should be like somebody like you and somebody else that understands the situation and then you go in and you're like, "Hey buddy, we're coming to help you. Let's go." But
yeah.
I love that. Yes, we'll talk about that more for
Okay.
sure. Okay, let's see some starred questions. Guys, if you have any other amazing questions, let them out now because me and Tory Tors can go on forever. I feel like somebody, oh, here, we'll start. Spirited Dragonfly did ask this question. How did you get out of the cult, Tory? Like, what made you get out?
Okay, you can go. I'll tell you this because it's kind of a long story, but
Yeah.
I made so many people ask me that question for 10 years when I first left that I made a series. It's a 10-part series, and I'm going to remake it just so you know, because someone else suggested that to me. But if you want to see it right away, it's at Tory Magoooooo 44, and you just put in + escape. And it's a 10-part series on how I got in, how I woke up, how I escaped out. And it's a pretty fucking great series. It really
It's
is.
awesome. It's so awesome. And I
And
can't
it's kind
tell
of
you how
long. That's
many
why I'm
times
not, it isn't like
it
one
is long.
thing,
I can't tell you how many toilets, I'm not joking, and I'm just gonna say how many toilets I have cleaned, how many houses I have cleaned, watching and just listening, cleaning, making money. Seriously, I would be like taking the bus to go to this person. Every people who've known me for a long time know this. I would go every day. So when I talk about like working hard and struggling and try really hard for your own life, do it for yourself, I really fucking mean that. And I don't get, oh, well, I didn't have money to get the Uber. Nope. Nice try. Nor did I. And I fucking got the $1.50 to get the bus. And then I was so excited to get the $20 extra from the person I was cat sitting from, because that could also get me to this other job that got me more money to. Anyway, so as I was cleaning toilets and doing so many jobs and being on the bus, I swear to God, I was listening to people like you, the Jason Begay videos. I was listening. There were so many things I can't even remember now. I think I was just listening to also random anonymous videos. I was watching things about how like David Miscavige didn't even ever have permission to take over, and that,
No.
you know, the Guardians, all this, and that, you know, seeing the event of him. And I was like, oh, I remember that event when he's like, the war is over, and just all these things. I was like, oh, so he just took over. And then 3 years later, oh, 1993, I was just putting things together, like piecing things together. You were such a key part, and for a long time, for the last 5 or 6 years, yeah, I hadn't been watching you because I had already been watching everything, and I was like, yeah, Tori knows it all, you know, she does, like, and the best way, like, yes, go watch Tori, because and watch her read the OT levels and shit and not get freaked out, and watch how she, like, said, I don't know, it just
I do an
really,
OT7 session. You could go and listen to
it's
the OT7 session.
insane. So it sounds crazy, and a lot of people watching are gonna be like, "They're crazy. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Even if they are right and I should leave, I'm not doing that because what if that does? And what if I have a mental?" I used to think all this shit. So,
Really?
yep, I used to think all this stuff. Well, that's why I was saying it took me so
I
much time. On my learning and loving video, I do this whole beginning entrance with Barbies, and I'm sitting at a computer, do 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 do, puppet keys and music, and I was typing Lara FM like, uh-oh, I don't want to know about myself. But Lara FM was really leading into, like, before that was, what if I just typed in Bob Minton or Lisa McPherson? That's one of the first things, because that was something as a child I was like, oh, this was one of the suppressive cases. This
Right.
is the thing where, you know, your friend you just told me about, Prince, Jesse
Jesse
Prince,
Prince.
Bob Minton. I knew about all them at this point, and Bunker.
They
So
all
it
have
was,
videos on YouTube, just so you know. You
I
can go
know,
watch.
and I was walking by the CB and running into the CD when they had all the signs. Oh, don't look at the signs. You know, like, so it's just a full circle. Like, that's also the stuff, hearing you talk about it and being like, yeah, and then they hit us with the protest. They're trying to irk us. And I was just going like, holy crap, they do this. We do this. Even if I was still calling myself a Scientologist or afraid to not be one, right? I was still going, well, it is true. We are pretty aggressive. We do anything to get them in jail. You know, they are pretty suppressive. So you're so suppressive. Um, anyway, so it's just really cool. I go back again, full thing. Go to her channel. We're gonna work on this more and more. I'm gonna go to Tori's house and I'm gonna get her all linked up so that anytime anybody streams live with you, You can always share it with, if somebody's like, Tory, I have 1 million followers. Let me, and you'll just be like, cool, boom, boom. Now you already just know. You just say, send me the link. And then if you get a type beforehand, you can fill it in and type in a whole thing of what you want it to say and all that. Like, oh, this is my channel. I'm chit-chatting with Lara Crazy FM. And on mine, I'm like, the OG SP Tory Magoooooo or whatever, you know? So I'm going to help you with all that. But so Spirited Dragonfly, if you really want to know how Tory got out, better go to her channel.
Yeah, that's actually, but it's too long. It's too long.
It is but good. And so is my 4 or 5 minute episodes where I was talking forever and nobody can hear anything. So everything's too long, but you're actually very good at it and you're hilarious and you still have the same exact personality. And when I met you, you were the same. And I was like, oh my God, this feels so comfortable. This is weird. I feel like she's my family. That's why I go full circle back to when I met you. I was like, oh, she's like me. I don't know. She feels like my own blood. This is weird.
I know. I started getting people from other cults out now. Like these kids wrote me and they said,
from not even Scientology.
No, they're from ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but they were in the Jehovah's Witnesses watching my videos and laughing about me. They told me this. They said we were laughing. Because I always try to make my videos in the beginning, they're sort of goofy. And I try to keep them a little bit fun because it's such a heavy subject. You know, and it's just sort of like, I don't want to overwhelm people with heaviness. And that's just the way I am. You know, I got the stupid bears and shit like that. You know, it's like I've always had them because I always say they're my friends, you know, because I lost all my friends overnight. And it was like, all right, I got my stuffed animals. You know, I've always had them since I was a little kid. I've had stuffed animals.
Okay. In my chat, people know one of the saddest things I was crying a lot about is that they took away my teddy bear and my animals at the Ant Ranch. I was talking about as slowly childhood things were just slowly taken away from us without because they were like, well, when did they stop doing this? And when did they start spanking? And when I was like, no, it all was just a grooming. Everything about this is a grooming to make everything reasonable and not right. So it wasn't just, and there were just there were times when I was like, oh, what a cute bear. I'm going to put this on my bed. And they're like, that's a little out of valence.
Well, I still have them for whatever reason. You know,
I have the randomest, funnest things. You know what my favorite new toy is? My new teddy bear toy. You must know, right? Do you not know, Tory? Do you know what I'm about to bring up?
No.
Mr. Old Rodney, Golden Rodney, Mr. Old King. This is my new.
That is funny.
What's so funny? What?
Did you make it?
Marilyn, she's going to be another follower of yours. You're going to see. You're going to get we're going to get you up to a zillion followers in no time. They have a whole crocheting community. Look, Tory, this thing is huge. This is not a joke. This is an airplane pillow, you know, in case you need, your neck.
Yeah, it's great.
Look, SPTV, in case people are wondering what it is. And also if you're feeling lonely, it's a good teddy bear, you know?
Very good. Very cute.
Just like to we'll just have them hang out there for a little bit. Okay, so do they Americans First says, do they let you leave the cult if you want to? What's a quick way to answer that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
And if you do, basically, I think they've put this umbrella of fear. Don't talk out about us.
It's like, watch the Truman Show, because that is what everyone, whether they're in the Sea Org, which Laura was, and I'm public, but you know, I was in the Sea Org for, I don't know, a couple of months until they kicked me out because of my medicine. I took medicine for epilepsy. They said, again, they sent me to an 18-year-old kid.
But Tory had more experience being, sadly, more of a Sea Org member or more dedicated to Scientology than even a Sea Org member would be. She was basically an OSA, in the outside world, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah, and it wasn't by choice. So we moved to Florida.
It was amends, and you guys are gung-ho, and you're the OTs, and you're killing the suppressives. That
wasn't it. We moved to Florida, And in 1979, they had already handled Gabe Gazaris, which is a whole nother awful thing Scientology did, where they lied about him. He was the mayor and they got him kicked out.
In Florida, was it Clearwater specifically?
Clearwater,
Or
of course.
okay, yeah. They
so
always do that, yeah.
We moved there for a whole different reason. We moved there not to do Scientology, but for some other stuff with my mom who lived in Florida. And it was unbelievable. They had honk out Scientology. They had all these people protesting, cars driving up and down the street honking. It was a nightmare. And so Milt Wolf calls me into his office and he says, Tory, I'm going to tell you something nobody knows, but you need to know this. We came here on a lie. And I said, you did? And he said, yeah. L. Ron Hubbard was going to park in like it was one of the southern states, like Georgia. I think he was going to come off sea onto land in Georgia.
Yeah.
But they found
I remember Janice. Wait, what?
Huh?
Yeah, no, sorry, it cut off.
The FBI were going to go on the ship and plant drugs.
That's right. No, Janice told me, this is on one of my earlier episodes. Janice explains this whole thing.
Right.
That's so awesome.
Zoomed around to Clearwater, Florida, bought the Fort Harrison under a phony name.
Right.
So he said, that's why we can't handle Richard Tenney. Richard Tenney was the guy running from city commissioner to mayor. And his whole program was Scientologists are liars. You can't trust them. Save sparkling Clearwater, stamp out Scientology. That was it. Everybody had these signs. Save sparkling Clearwater, stamp out Scientology.
Right.
So he goes, I'm talking thousands of people. And he's like, you need to handle this. And I'm like, me? I'm a mother. I just gave birth to my son. And he's like, oh my God. I think 2 years old.
What year was this?
What year was it? 2. Excuse me. I'm going to have some of this.
Yeah, take it. No, we all need a break. Everybody in the break, cheers. We love you. We all need a break. Hey, if you're watching this, first of all, subscribe to Tory's channel. Mods, can you pull that up? Sorry, I'm back in the chat. Let me see if you guys did it so I can pull it up for you guys. And thank you guys. Hey, Jacob Harkey. Hi, thank you. Jacob Harkey, remember him? He was playing the guitar.
Yes, that was very cool.
And he's so smart and he's so supportive and he's such a fucking open heart. Man, that man was crying like I was crying when at the Celebrity Center. Sorry. Hey, can one of y'all pull? Oh, there it is. Thank you. Are you gelling? Look at you. Tory Magoooooo's channel. Everybody, Tory Magoooooo's right there. YouTube is right here below. Please subscribe right now. Everybody just take a minute. She's going to finish her story, but take a minute. We're going to all take a sip. If you're drinking your drinks and drinking your waters or electrolytes, do that now. If you're smoking that ganja, take a big rip. Smoke it up.
Now that doesn't say Tory Magoooooo 44 though. So that's my actual YouTube site.
Okay. Wow. Then that's the wrong one. Which one is it? Nope. Are you gelling? I think that's the wrong one.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
It's
T-O-R-Y.
Mandy.
It's T-O-R-Y.
Hold on. Is it easy? I'll put it in right now.
It's Tory Magoooo 44. That's it.
Okay. Sorry. 1 sec. I'm putting it in. This is your YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So Tory,
Magoooo, which is in honor of my dad, and then 44, which was his.
Sorry, M-M-O-O. Sorry, what? Fuck.
M-A-G-O-O, like Mr. Magoo.
Okay, Tory Magoooooo.
And then here's my dad's football number. Look.
44. I love 44s. I love 4s and 2s.
That's his foot. He's in the Football Hall of Fame. And this is his card. And I never knew it. All the time I was in Scientology, no one looked it up. And I left Scientology, and Mark Plummer, who just passed away, sent me these cards. And I have a football card for my dad. He was a football player. He's in the Football Hall of Fame. And he was a broadcaster with Kurt Gowdy in the 60s. So he sent me he had all these football cards that he sent us.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool? But
That
I
is
thought,
so amazing. That's so
again,
amazing.
your
No, even
Scientology does nothing about it, but
because
this
they don't,
critic.
because they're so gross. They're so gross. The only information they have to manipulate people is the information they are making you say,
Right.
thinking you're going to be free. And then they use that against you when you try to leave, or if you're ever diverting or even questioning something. Hey, we know what you did, you hooker,
So
or whatever.
did you type in Tory Magoooooo
I
44?
did, but then look, I think I
Tory
want to
Magoooooo,
do it
you don't have
correct.
the 44.
I
44.
see 44. I was waiting, but I wanted it up before I forgot. So there you go. Add banner. Bam. Oops. Cancel. Okay. Is it this? Save. Is it this?
That's it.
Okay, guys, look at right now. I want everybody to do this, please, because Tori's freaking awesome. And Tori, we're gonna do this a bunch more because you're freaking amazing. Like I said, you guys have heard like now all these little connections, even like the guy Kasowitz, like all of this. Later, you know what? The same event that I brought my father. I was working for this good friend of mine, Suzanne. I won't say her last name just in case, but she probably will also be up on one of these. She'll just jump in. She never was in or anything, but she became sort of like a mother to me in the outside world. And
Oh,
and weirdly, I don't know if it's just me or my mind. I'll show you guys pictures of my mom and her. They sort of look similar. Like there's a little resemblance where I couldn't believe how much nurturing and care, like, she would give me and understanding, like, "Oh, are you sick?" Like, I thought I was gonna be in so much trouble. She's gonna find somebody else to work for her. Like, and she was like, "No."
oh,
She was like,
right.
"Go, relax." And I was like,
Explain that. Explain that because some people watching
so
won't understand that.
like, okay, yeah, this was a huge thing, and I always give her so much credit for this. Like, I was like, so I ended up working for her and kind of basically being her little, like, I could do anything. I could clean bathrooms. I actually started cleaning for her, and then she was kind of like, oh, she's so good. She can do anything. She's such a hard worker.
Right.
And so she realized, like, okay, well, I have a job for you if you want it. I thought, oh my God, this is so perfect because I was living downtown. I was like this wild little artist that just was like, making all these songs, these Scientology songs that I was so afraid to say what I was singing about. And so I was just like singing these like deep love, emotional songs and making these emotional music. And I would run and be like, "Oh, I have to be awake at 8 a.m., which means I have to be awake at 5:30 because I have to take the bus." Oh, better plug in my computer before my whole live stream just fails on me. Thank you, Apple, for telling me to plug in the computer in advance before I see. There's certain things that I do like about technology.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's plugged in. But what was I saying? Oh, so I was writing all these music, so like I Love You, Learning and Loving, Happy Dynamite, You Got Me Now. I was literally writing songs with the singer of Flock of Seagulls. And I ran so far. That 80s singer, he has like a bunch of really well-known songs, and people just don't realize, like, oh, that's Flock of Seagulls. You know that song, "If I Took a Photograph of You." I don't know, I always had that song in my head.
You're so
And,
great. You're so
"Gotta Get Away." Anyways, so, I started learning about the outside world and all this, but fuck, I forgot where I was going. Where was I going with this? Oh, the music and everything. I wasn't able even Mike, I was telling anybody that wasn't in Scientology about my Scientology life a little bit.
right.
And so we had our connection.
No, wait. I remember what it was, and I'm going to add to it.
Go.
You were saying you went to work and you were sick, and I said, "Tell them about it."
That's
But let
right.
me just say my things because it'll
Go.
explain my memory thing.
Yep.
I
Yep.
have epilepsy. I got it at 18. I was on medication, had no seizures. I was all fine. And then I joined the Sea Org, and I ran out of my medication. And Scientology said, I went to whoever was the guy running. I was on the boulevard, out in the LA harbor doing
Yep.
ship training. And I said, look, I ran out of my medication. I've got to get it. And he said, well, you've got to go see the MLO. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like totally into Scientology. I was in the Truman
Me
Show,
too.
The day
And
I walked in.
even when you're saying this, I used to send people from ethics, being in Clearwater as a 14-year-old MAA and be like, "Oh," the moment they mention medication, I'm like, "Ooh, better go see the MLO,"
Right.
because then the MLO would do a report of what exactly why you needed it, what it was, etcetera. But okay, yeah.
Okay, so I go to this 18-year-old kid again who goes,
Again.
"We're the top 10% of the planet, and we don't take medication. You're in the C organization. So we're going to get you on a program to get you off your medication. You'll be using Dianetics and vitamins." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And
We've done we've done this a bunch, millions of
of
people.
course, they were using Adele Davis. She had that stupid book, on how, and in it said if you take magnesium, that'll handle seizures, right?
Yeah.
And so that was their source. It wasn't even LRH. It was just, but they had some LRH shit that happened.
But I also think a lot of that, Dr. Dank, all that came from.
I love Dr. Denk. Everybody hates Dr. Denk, but Dr.
No,
Denk,
that's not true.
he
Not
saved my life.
everybody. Okay, he did help a lot of people, but I
Mhm.
think he was part of the bridge along with Megan Shields and Stephen Price, that just started fucking like altering their actual knowledge of how to heal and handle the body and like taking L. Ron Hubbard's BS on like nervous system, touch assist, and it's just the mind. And important times when babies and children were getting neglected, and Megan Shields was like, "How come you didn't bring this baby to me earlier? Now it has to go to the hospital. Oh, now it has to go get help where Scientology cannot help.
Right.
Why are you not fucking saying shit like this?" And this was before I was even born. I was reading policy letters that Janice and people have sent me that I'm just like, this is out of this actually, which gave me a lot more empathy for Sterling and people that I thought were bullies or older executives that were older than me that became, Mike Brown, all these. I was like, oh my God, these were the policy letters that were being forced in them when they were
Right.
kids in LA. And
Right.
yeah. So, and I was like, oh my God, Tory knows about this. Or I'll
Yeah.
be like, Janice knows about this.
Believe me, I know about it over and over and over. So they route me out. I try to get off my medicine. I start having grand mal seizures, which
Oh
are
my
awful.
God.
And then coming out of it, I mean, it's bad enough having a grand mal seizure, but every time I'd come out of it, there'd be a Sea Org member going, "Tori, you're just not being responsible enough. That's what's happening." And when I would come out of a seizure, I literally would not recognize anything. I mean,
Yeah, so I get
not
migraines, and
not
when
a
not
person, let me finish this, not a
right.
person, not a chair, not a
Oh my God.
window, nothing. It was just like a complete blank. And then these people are saying, "You're not responsible enough." And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so I started carrying around a thing saying, "My name is Tori Christman. I have
No.
epilepsy. If you find me unconscious, let me know that I'm a Scientologist. I'm on planet Earth. I'll be okay, and leave me alone." That I carried that, and because I'd have these
Did
multiple
you make
seizures.
that by yourself?
Huh?
Did you make that by yourself?
Of course.
No, but then you just showed the MLO, "Look, this is how I'll
No,
get
I
it."
don't feel that. Fuck the
No?
MLO. I mean, that's what I'm saying. People go, "How could she have done this?" When you hear my whole story, it's like, how could Tori have done this? But when you understand what I went through with these assholes, I was like, I'm not on the bridge to total freedom anymore. Fuck you guys in your bridge to total freedom. I'm on the bridge next to the bridge to total freedom. And
Right,
that
you were still a Scientologist,
that
though,
means
deeply.
I'm this far out. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
So I can do what I fucking want. And
But you're
people would,
still getting a lot of the knowledge and
yeah, of
everything.
course, of course. But people would say, "How could you possibly be taking that medication?" A lot of Scientologists, Sea Org members, all kinds of stuff.
Right,
And I would say,
totally.
"Look, Hubbard wrote a policy. It says if it isn't true for you, it isn't true. So you have a grand mal seizure and then come talk to me about medication. And until then, fuck
Ah,
you."
that's a
That was
good
my thing. It
one.
was just like I had to weed people out.
That's
So
a good one. You don't know what I've been through,
yeah,
so until you have done OT5, I can't talk to you. It's not like that, but it's like almost like until you've had what I'm dealing with. Like, it would almost be the comparison to like be able to talk to a seer member or a dedicated Scientologist that's OT7. You would have to be like, until not even then, because they would be so involved in Scientology. Yeah, it's so gross. And they separate psychology, they separate psychiatry, they separate they even separate just basic bodily therapy that they just go, oh, that's a squirrel. You should always just be doing Scientology. You shouldn't be going to you know, health therapist or a somebody that's really involved in brain tumor or whatever it is. It's just like, no, it has to be approved by Dr. Dank or someone on the medical lines of Scientology.
Which they did. Dr. Dank did for me. He did all the way through it. I mean, I ended up fighting the entire flag land base at the end, and I won. But that was with Dr. Dank.
So when did Dr. Dank die? Do you know? Like, when did, because I feel like he was around during the childhood of cadets at the Int Ranch for a while. Like,
I don't know. I'm not going to get into Dr. Dank, good or bad. You know, it's like, that's a whole different thing. Let's finish you and me. Because that's
no, well, this is a part of it, believe me, because a lot of Int Ranch cadets and children,
part of it.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't say I'm not getting into it.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know.
What did you like about Dr. Dank?
Let me just finish my thing so people understand why I don't remember shit. Let me just finish that. So I had the seizures. I had more seizures. I couldn't take the medication, but my mother starts going, wait a minute. And we weren't even close then. I had a great childhood, but because I was such a crazy thing as a teenager, we were sort of like not really close. But she recognized I was really getting fucked up. So she started calling me and going, how are you doing? And I'm like, fine. So it's getting worse. My memory, like, and you can hear it. I'll be like, what was I talking about? And when I give speeches, I tell people about this because I can't remember. It's gone. You know, it isn't like, oh, I'll get it back. No, it's gone. So I say to people in the audience, someone has to remember what I'm talking about because I'm like a tree. And if I get off on a branch, I can't remember what the actual the topic is. So right now, I'm already like, see,
I get it.
I know, but now I forgot. So I'm telling you about my mother. So my mother says she's going to call.
Yeah.
So she calls me and she goes, what are you doing tonight? This is after not many seizures, not multiple, but many different seizures over days, weeks. I think it was into months, you know, maybe weeks, probably weeks. But
and this is because you're not because you're being a Scientologist. Is that kind of what's going on here?
I'm in Scientology and I can't take my medication. They're like, you've got to do Dianetics and the vitamins. So I have this huge tray of vitamins. I'm living at Mary Jessup's house, who was married to Nate Jessup. Anyway,
that name sounds very familiar.
I'm living with Mary and she has 2 little kids. And I try to get they had a duplex. So I was on one side in my bedroom and they were on the other. And I'd try to get from my bed to the refrigerator to get my vitamins. I'd pick them up. I'd have a petite mal, which is a small seizure. The vitamins would drop. They'd be all over the floor. And Selby or Nathaniel, her 2 kids would come in and go, Mom, Tory dropped her vitamins again. It's just awful. It was awful.
That's horrible.
I mean, it was awful.
So then when you come from the vitamins dropping, are you like, oh, fuck, I dropped them? I had a little thing. Like, do you remember? Okay, that's so horrible. Like I
don't know it. And Mary even, bless her heart, she would say, Tory, you know you're going to have a grand mal seizure at this point. So just go get in bed, put pillows around you and have the seizure and then you'll be okay. But I couldn't quite do that. It was like, it's too painful. I can't do it. So my mom's calling me and she goes, all right, what are you doing tonight? And I go, I'm going out on a date. She goes, all right, I'll call you tomorrow. So she calls me the next day. She goes, hi, honey. How was your date? And what's my answer? What date?
Yeah.
And she goes, okay, that's it. These people are going to kill you. And either you're back on your medication today and your doctor, which was Dr. Dank, calls me because her father was a doctor. So I know she was talking to him at the time and he said, get her back on her medication.
Right.
And so she said, your doctor calls me and says you're on your medication, or I'm going to personally fly from Chicago to LA. And believe me on this, Tory, L. Ron Hubbard and the Church of Scientology will never forget your mother. And my dad was on NBC, and they had media lines all over the place. And I thought, you know what? This is going to be a disaster. I'll just go back on my medication. And why not? Who wants to have seizures anyway? Now I had an excuse. But I spent 30 years with people, you know, doing their thing.
And didn't they kind of make you feel like you were PTSD or PT? Yeah. What is it? PTS type?
I don't know.
What
They
is
just
it?
said I was PTS, and I had who was the SP? Of course, my mother, right?
But so you weren't like you weren't declared at that point. You were just kind of like, no, she can't be on services. She can't be on lines.
Well, see, that was the difference back then with Hubbard. Hubbard had a thing, all these different things, and then the last thing that you would do is get declared suppressive.
Right.
But he was really big on try good roads, fair weather. You know, just try to work it out with you, whoever you're having the upset with. Whereas with Savage, it's just like you're declared. I mean, I had no ethics handlings when I was declared. Nothing. No one talked to me. They never heard my side to this day. You know, I
think the only thing I had was me trying to convince my dad that it was just him coming to try to get me to come to Celebrity Center to see the ethics officer. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I have zero interest. I'm not even interested in Scientology. And I was like, Dad, can we just go to the movies and you could wear your stupid Sea Org hat? I don't care. It just didn't work out. He was like, nope, she needs, and then he would be told when he went back, you're being teety weedy. You're being teety weedy. You do it.
How did you leave? How did you leave?
So he showed up. I was smoking my joint, fucking watering my garden, happy in my little art world. And he kept coming back after I told him, don't just show up to my art studio. I'm like in my art world. I'm making music. What?
He'd come over?
He just showed up, somehow got into the art colony and would stand. Sometimes I would be out in the desert tripping on mushrooms, having a show. And then I'd come back home and he would be sitting there in a chair, like reading some fucking Scientology book with his little golden age of tech hat, like baseball cap to look casual, with like half uniform, half jeans to make it look like he was in civvies. And he was waiting for me. And a neighbor left letters. My dad left letters that I still have to this day under the door. Like, hey, I stopped by to see if you were around.
Did you read them?
I read them, but I came back and I was like, oh my God. So then I came back and he was there sitting outside. And I was like, Dad, you can't do this. Like, my neighbor just told me that you've been out here since Saturday. Isn't that ridiculous? And he's like, and the neighbor feels bad for you. And I know you know who I'm talking about because he asked you if you wanted any fruit or snacks. And you said, sure, anything. And he gave you some. I said, people care. But Dad, you're more out PR for Scientology for sitting out here trying to convince me to go to Celebrity Center. He was literally being tossed back and forth between me and the ethics officer. And IJC basically saying, you need to show her. Is horrible. And I said, Dad, our relationship is getting destroyed the more we do this. So then I was smoking. So then the last day I was smoking a joint, woke up in the morning and I was like, okay, I'm going to stretch. Boom. I was watering all these plants and vegetables that I just made, like, you know, planted over the few months. And I was so happy. Look at my garden. And oh my God, little butterflies. And I'm not kidding. I hear a cough. All I hear is a cough, like a and I'm like, I was like, am I stoned or did that sound like my father's cough?
He was in your house?
He was outside. At the time I lived in a warehouse studio that had an outside garden area, but it was like, it's all like, there were still walls up, but like the sun was shining so I could have a whole outside garden area. Wow. So I had to open the door to see who was out there. I couldn't just look through a fence. Right. Wow. So I just heard this cough. I know this sounds weird, but my dad had a spit like a little cough, not a cough.
No, it doesn't sound weird.
If he laughed really hard or something, you'd be like, oh, it's kind of like me. I'm like, okay. So it's kind of like that. I heard like a, like kind of like he was like somebody sitting there coughing as he's reading newspaper or something, right? And my little stoner mind watering the plants and the little magical water and the sun gleaming in. I was like, There's no way after, I mean, because he had all these little sweet letters. Oh, hey, I came by to see you, you weren't here, but that's okay. I'll come back tomorrow. Like, whatever, right? I was just kind of like, there's no way he's back here not realizing I'm here. I'm back. I came back in the middle of the night from the desert.
Right.
Okay, so I'm watering the plants. I'm kind of like, I'm holding my joint and the hose in one hand. I open the door with my joint hand. And boom, my dad is standing there with his goldenrod cap. I mean, his freaking golden age of tech baseball cap. And he's like, hey, oh, look at that. Like, oh, look at that. I found you. And I was like, I don't know. I feel bad every time I talk about this, but all I remember was feeling so invaded in my privacy by him demanding that I have to go into the org or hear what he has to say constantly. Like, and I just said, Dad, you can't do this. What the fuck? He scared the shit out of me. And I slammed the door.
Good for you.
I started crying. The next, I was like kind of mad. And then as I took 5 steps, I just started crying. Because I was so like, you never hear me. Like, you never understand me.
Yeah.
And I was like, went from like happy joy to like anger.
Yeah.
From my father trying to, I guess, show me some kind of love. Like, hey, look, we're getting separated. You have to come to the org. And it's just like, just like frustration. So I started crying. I'm sure he left. And then I fucking went to inside my studio, into my room, my little bedroom, and I wrote him an email. I don't know how much longer it was or whatever. And I just said, I am so sick of this. I need you to leave the Sea Org. When you leave the Sea Org and want to be my dad, then you could be my dad. You could still be a Scientologist, but I can't do this relationship. You never listen. You cry. Like, I just went off.
And if your dad is listening to this, you can call her today. We'll come
literally,
over.
and I would
we'll come over and get you.
Dad, oh, good.
You don't have to stay there anymore. This place has turned into such a shithole. And I know how old is your dad?
Like, oh Jesus, he's probably like 70-ish.
60, 70-ish. Okay, so those people, most of them, this is my view because they won't talk to me, but I think most of them think, what am I going to do? You know,
that's what my dad, when I was yelling at his name, okay, that's what I was going back to. Streets, LA, I was at the Shrine Auditorium down, like, and I was just like, oh, this is so weird. I was M9ing Guillaume Lesevre on his talking sheet because Dave Miscavige was yelling at him.
M9 is a way of clearing different words.
Method 7. It was actually Method 7 because he said, who knows how to word clear around here? And he was yelling at one of the other executives, for people who are watching that haven't seen, but
that's
he was yelling.
Mind control, just so people listening know.
David Miscavige. The word clearing. You're messing up.
Yeah.
You must not understand something if you're acting like such an idiot around me.
You're always fucking up, and it's because you don't understand these words. And you're like, really? And oh yeah, let me check. What's the definition of?
What the fuck is the definition of the word cold?
So go back to what you're saying. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No. That's okay. We're perfect for each other because we can always catch each other. So I was just back at the Shrine Auditorium, and I met Streets LA, and I met a few of the other people that were also fans of mine that I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, other people know. Oh my God, this is cool. So I only went there. I didn't only go there. I went there with my friend Jen, who I love so much, who I met through my SPTV YouTube channel at the very beginning. She was just kind of there, and she's like, Laura, and I just remember Jen B, that was her little thing. And she said, I'll go with you. Oh my God. And then I was like, okay, well then I'm definitely going. Cause I was also like thinking like, maybe I shouldn't go. What if Streets doesn't know who I am? What if I'm interrupting what he's trying to do? I was feeling like sort of like, but I was like, but if I go there, at least I can tell them like what's going on. I could be like, I just felt like I don't have to be the, person here, but I just want them to know. And I was like, and I'm proud SP. So I was there with my sign, like in my goldenrod. So I was like, I don't care. I also was going there with the intention that I was gonna maybe see my mom coming off of the gold buses from
Yeah.
gold, like, you know, I thought, oh, maybe I'd see her walking by because she's backstage. So I was staying in the very specific spot by the shrine where it was the back entrance where I knew all the executives and all the, you know, gold people were coming to and from. So I saw a bunch of people that I recognized and I was shouting out their name, da da da. And then in the middle of this, I'm like, oh, I was like singing, I was doing something funny. And as I was doing that, I was like, oh my God, no, I swear, I just saw him like this big from far away. I was like, oh, he's so tiny. But I was like, that person, and I knew my dad was in dishwashing at a certain point. I didn't in the galley. I didn't know if he had been promoted since then or whatever, or if he had or if since I was declared now and that he excommunicated from me that maybe they promoted him up or something. I don't know. I just and so again, my attention was just thinking, oh, I know. And I kept seeing a bunch of gold staff, like Eva, and all these people that were, I was like, hey, I remember you. This is me, Laura Megan Anderson. Yep, that's right. Enrich Cadet. You know, I just was like yelling things that would get them thinking, oh my God, this is a chick from the freaking cadet org, like years ago. So, and as I'm doing this, I see this little figure and it's looking like my dad is pushing the cart. And I'm like, there's no way. Cause I think you can even hear me go, there's no way right now that I'm seeing my dad. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm just hallucinating and I'm just on a high right now or something. And it gets closer and I'm like, oh my God, is that no, that's my dad. I'm like, oh my. And so then I just start yelling. I'm like, dad, dad. Oh my, I was like, he's not going to talk to me. And I realized, oh my God, there's these protesters here that are watching this and they're all streaming and I'm streaming. And I think Jen had my phone at that point. Cause I don't know what I was talking. I was like, had my sign and I was like, oh my God, guys, that's my dad. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that I was seeing my fucking father in the middle of me holding this bright sign. I'm like, I'm going, oh my God, he thinks I'm crazy. Actually, I thought that right away.
Right.
How am I going to get to my dad right now? He thinks I'm crazy. He's like, he already knows right away. That's my daughter. Oh my God, that's my daughter. He's like hiding.
Well, just so you know, for your dad, she is crazy. So that's okay. And so are you.
And he knows that. And he knows that.
Okay.
So he even more was like, just keep going. Do not look. And he like pushed the cart faster and was like, and I kept saying, Dad, you're not going to look at me. What's that? Yeah, he was.
He thinks if he joins you, he'll get crazy.
Which he will. So, yeah.
No,
so that was crazy. No. I'm just saying that was crazy for all that. That was like, then I felt like, oh my God, these people, like, when have we ever seen that, Tori? I've never seen that in real life. While you're protesting, a family member of somebody comes out in the middle of fucking protesting, and then nobody knew that was going to happen. Nobody
I know.
knew.
That's why you never know. Like, that's why that live video I turned on at LA Org, that was the first time in 23 years I've ever been able to show someone getting regged into Scientology. You know, brand new.
Is that so crazy too? And then I also had another incident recently on L. Ron Hubbard Way where this guy was like, I was filming. I was like, oh, look at this guy hiding in the parking lot. And I zoomed in and he was sitting in his car and he all of a sudden turned on his lights and zoomed out. And I was like, oh, got him. And then I see him and he comes back around and he comes to L. Ron Hubbard, parks and pulls up kind of aggressive. And I was like, whoa, back up, man. And it was kind of, people know that watch this, they saw this, they were like, what the hell? And it went from, he was like, I feel like you're antagonizing me and da da da. And I was like, well, I am. I was like, I'm not antagonizing you, but I am antagonizing Scientology. Like, I was like, that's true. You might be picking. And I was like, why don't you listen to me a little bit? Okay. I know. I was like, I'm being honest with you. You asked me. And it went all the way to like, look, I was like, look, I was born. And I said the thing kind of how you did. I was like, I know about all this. I know about your purification rundown and it's probably helping you a lot. They don't believe in God. They probably told you that. Like I see that you're a Christian and da da da. It was so crazy. And he just was like, okay, well, okay, stop yelling. Like, don't yell at me. And I was like, don't come up and say that I'm antagonizing you. You have to hear. This is why we're protesting. This is what it takes. These are the uncomfortable conversations. Like even at La Poubelle, which I'll be at tonight, There's literally like uncomfortable conversations that people have to realize. They're going, what? I love this restaurant. I love Danny. It seems like I got attacked really harsh and the law was too hard. You know, the owner's telling me the truth. So like, and it's like, no, wake up. You're being manipulated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just fuck, I forgot where I was going from that. But yeah, see my dad streets. It just, every time I go and protest and do something, I learn something more. I give information that people didn't have.
Right.
So nothing can ever go wrong for me. That's what it feels like for me. And it is hard. It's very scary to feel that the police is totally not on your side and that you're like trying to like be with the community and tell them, hey, you know, this whole, it's a lot. And so it is a big cause. What we're doing is breaking not only Scientology, but showing deep corruption in multiple ways. So but it's very, very clear, and we know this, Tory, how deeply associated Scientology is with its fellow members and their companies and their businesses and what they expect from the businesses politically. If Scientology is vouching for somebody, right, or hey, we're having, you know, the pavilion at Celebrity Center open for these police officers to come in and jam with us. This is going to be a good PR stunt for Scientology. This is all. So like these police officers can say, oh, we're not trying to be a part of. Yes, you are. You are, because you want to be in cahoots and not on the bad side of Scientology, which means you are in fear or in the fear of tactics that Scientology uses.
Right.
To make people. And so you're a weak human being calling yourself a police officer. And you can't even take a fucking full report because you're afraid to actually say what the other Scientology people were doing.
Or they're paid off. I think they're paid off.
That's what I mean. That's so, yeah.
I don't think it's so much, I mean, I think it's a combination of fear, but I think most of it's money. You know, and that's just my own personal.
Back to our very first thing when we first started. Tory said everything with Scientology always leads back down to money.
Back to money. I mean, and
so find who's paying what?
Huh?
I was just saying, let's find even for La Poubelle and why and who's taking care of Danny's vineyards and his grapes while he's in prison and who's getting paid off and why won't La Poubelle owners come out against Danny instead of fucking vouching for him? And there's so many little pockets. But yeah, go ahead.
This is a thing I carry. This is a different topic, but I carry this. And it's a business card, right?
Yep.
I have a new updated one. So this is an older one.
Wait, pull it back just a tiny bit. Yeah, not too much. Wait, no, go because it'll focus properly. Yep, right there. We'll now straighten it. Now people can screenshot that and they can zoom in and get all your info. But it's a perfect little business card. Let me just go grab it too. So
here's where this came about. We were picketing years ago and people were passing out flyers and about Xenu. And I said, look, nobody gives a shit about flyers. Nobody wants to carry a flyer. You just have to think of yourself. Do you want to put it in your purse? You know,
no, it's like annoying.
I want flyers. And so I made up these cards. Or someone made them up for me. I didn't make them up, but somebody made them up for me. And I have a different version now. But the point is, every time, and this is me, Tory, you don't have to do this, but every time I see a young person, every day, I go like this. Look, just so you know, and especially if they're like Black, Hispanic, from Asian, you know, other cultures, I go, Scientology is after you. And they go, really? And I go, 100%. You know, I mentioned that I was in Scientology, I escaped out, and they go, really? And so you know, either they're, well, I'm a Scientologist, you know, don't talk to me. But most of 99.5%, you know, almost 100% people go, really? And I go, oh yeah. You know, and I go, and in fact, I want you to know you're a young person, you're good looking, Scientology's after you. And they go, why? And I go, here's my card, right? And I give them the card and I say, you learn about it. But I'm telling you this, it's a cult, it's mind control. And the experts that study mind control and cults, the only protection you have against getting suckered into one of these things is understanding what is a cult, what is mind control. If you understand those, you'll never get suckered in. If you don't, they're very good at what they do. And I give them out every day to different people. And I always say, put it right in your wallet, because your boss might be Scientologist and they'll fire you if they see you with this card. Go, all right. They put it away. But I'm telling you, it's a really good thing to do.
It is. I'm totally ripping off your idea, and I have my printing lady.
That's why I'm telling people you can do it. Were you there?
Look at how cool that will be. My goldenrod card.
There you go.
I ripped it from the printing company who made it, but I'm going to have a goldenrod card that will have literally very similar thing. My little Lara FM punch, like kids can't consent, you know, something similar where it's like, oh, okay, this I could see where this.
Have websites that they can go to, like
my website, YouTube, phone number,
you know, but whatever website you like that has facts that they can go and learn. But that guy in the car, were you there when the guy drove in the car and I was down in the driveway, or you weren't there yet?
Yeah, I think so.
The guy drove in the car
to see you, right?
And he let his mother out, and she was kind of an older woman. She looked like kind of a bag lady, and he let her out. And I thought, is this lady doing Scientology? And I thought, you know what? I'm on the thing already. I'm going to go talk to him. So I say to him, come on up here. And he drives up to me, and I'm still way in closer to the front of LA Org, right?
Yeah.
And I say, did you just drop your mother off? Was that your mother? And he goes, yeah. And I said, you dropped your mother off at Scientology? And I go like this, because I know they're going to come out in a minute. And I go, here's my card. Take this card, put it away. And I said, I was in it for 30 years. And I'm just telling you, it's a scam. It's a con. You need to learn the other side, and then you'll know. You can make up your own mind, but learn the other side. The guards come out and right away start saying, and I said, and they're going to say shit about me. And they do. They come out, and I leave, you know, but he's got the card. You see what I mean? That's why I'm saying these cards are so great.
They're so great. You can just put them in. Every Sea Org member has a pocket, even if it's just a slight. So that's it's so inspiring. It's kind of like, here's your ticket to freedom or not. Like, at least I gave you the option. Yeah. And that's what I love. Yeah. So I'm ripping that from you, of course.
You're not ripping it. I pass it on. I mean, the more people that have the factual information, the less chance there are. I mean, that guy that was at Christmas this year was going to give him $5,000, and he was a brand new person. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not doing the communication course or anything. They wanted $5,000 from him, and he was going to give it to him.
Yeah, he was like, "Fine, you know, I've wrestled through everything."
Yeah.
Like, oh, fine. Money's nothing. Money, fine. $5,000. That's just another fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would have gone him all in, right?
Okay. Are there actual church services? It's a good question.
Yeah. Deb Robinson. Thank you.
Back in 79, which I started telling you and I never finished it, but the thing with Richard Tinney, where they asked me to handle that. And I ended up getting him voted out of office. He did get voted out of office. And that's not a good thing, because he was, you know, but anyway, it is what it is. And I was in Scientology at the time, but they didn't have any church services. And I realized it. And I thought, I said, you know, no one's going to think of you as a church. You know, everybody goes on course. The Sea Org are there all the time, but it's like publicly, you don't look like a church. So we started Sunday services, and that's where we started them. And that was because of me trying to handle Clearwater in 1979, and they having the safe, sparkling Clearwater stamp out Scientology. And I was like, you know, you can say you're a church, but you don't look like a church. You don't act like a church. You know, you don't have any church services. So they started doing Sunday service, and it actually was kind of fun. It wasn't really, it's not religious. I will say this, they're not a church. It's not religious. They don't believe in God. Hubbard was against Jesus, churches, you know, anything religious. He was actually against, you know, on OT3. You find that out, which is why I'm trying to figure out how Louis Farrakhan can possibly be OT4. I mean, it's like unbelievable.
That's what I keep bringing that. I brought it up at La Poubelle. I brought it up everything. I'm like, look, guys, the facts are the facts. Like you're hearing stuff and refusing to actually see it for what it is. This is only going to better your life if you hear the information. You don't want to be connected to somebody that's a con artist. You don't want to be connecting your spiritual freedom to a con artist.
That's why you want the cards. Because people can only hear so much. But
I'm on it. I'm on it. You inspired me.
Go read the information. You know, just say, you know, you want to know why we're here? Here's a card.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
find out. You know, because people will read.
Vegan 3, you're you're a little suspicious to me, but we'll see. Maybe pass out written info on Danny at La Poubelle instead of yelling and arguing with trolls. Let me tell you something, Vegan 3. We've been passing out flyers. And in fact, it's very amazing. We've been doing everything. So we will continue yelling and arguing as well with the trolls so that we can expose the internal people that think, oh, there's nothing wrong with rape, or hey, a lot of people get all the information. So whatever that comment is rude. And then you hear again, those of us in our 60s and 70s are not going to change. Yes, you are. But I don't know what that's all about.
What does that mean?
I don't know. And here we go. No, we had Sunday service in the 70s in the Bay Area every Sunday. So you see the little trolling here. So Vegan 3 state, you know, like you have your own story, I guess, or not. But like, what does this have to do with what we're talking about
anyway,
right now?
Maybe they did. But the point is the Church of Scientology in Clearwater, Florida in 1979 did not have Sunday service. So maybe you had them.
Yeah, and it's also been altered. So L. Ron Hubbard's technology will be altered and changed as long as David Miscavige sees it needed to be changed. So, like, you're stupid, like, oh, in the 60s and 70s, it wasn't. Shut up. Who gives a fucking shit? We're literally talking about facts of shit that we've been through. So shut up. And if you think I'm being rude and maybe you weren't being rude, then there you go. I said my speech. You said yours. Freedom of speech. Here we are. Thank you, Vegas Andrew. Thank you, sweetie. I love both of you ladies. You are kick-ass and beautiful. You didn't let them steal your joy, right? Didn't we? We took that shit right back.
Yeah. And the more my view was like making videos was very healing for me. And it is for you too, I can tell.
Yes.
It's one of those things where, you know, it isn't, I don't know how to explain it, but for me, it was just like the more I'd look at, now, wait a minute, Narconon, and then I'd make a video about it, what I knew about Narconon. Do you know what I mean? Because people didn't know this shit. And when I left, everybody was like, well, Scientology's a religion. You're picking on them. And so that's when I switched from being against Scientology, because I realized, because they started saying online, well, you're a bigot. You're a religious bigot. And, you know, this was part of their attack. But I thought, okay.
I think their common normal attack.
I got out my dictionary, looked it up, and I thought, you know, they're kind of right the way I'm talking, because I was against everything. L. Ron Hubbard, attack everything. And so I thought, okay, you know what? I don't give a shit. You want to do Scientology? You do Scientology. I'm against the abuses. Okay, stopping free speech, breaking up families, medical abuse, fraud, financial fraud, the Sea Org, all the shit that they do to the kids, all those things, that's abusive stuff. And they should not have a right to do that. Okay? Because it's human rights violations. See, that's what I stand up against, human rights violations. I stand up against the church because they do those things. But I differentiate and go, because some people are like, I really love Scientology. It's like, okay, do Scientology. As long as you're not hurting other people, I don't give a shit.
But I feel like when you start doing Scientology, it leads you in the path of separating and hurting other people.
I think you're right. I do.
Yeah,
but I'm
just saying, like they start you off with little child communication course, and then all of a sudden you're disconnecting from people who you
you're right.
communicate with.
You're right. But for me, this was back in 2000 when I was all by myself. And they were the shit out of me. And it was like, all right, fine. Then I'm against human rights violations. Pick on me on that. Go for it. And, you know, they had a hard time with it because they do those things. And you and I know it.
We all know it now, guys. We're all learning and loving with you. Wow, Tory, we are awesome. I love you so much. I cannot wait to do this. I'm going to hit you up maybe tomorrow if you're free. I'll come over to your house and we can, and I can help you do, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so much easier than I thought. Because I also had the same like trauma. Oh my God, I'm not going to learn this. Nope. It's actually, once you know it, like just how we are in Scientology. Once you know it, you know it.
I'm so happy you said this today, because yesterday I was thinking maybe I should just stop this. I don't know.
No, you were amazing, because I was watching you while I was like cooking and doing shit last night, and I was like, oh my God, Tory needs. I can't wait to help her. This is amazing.
You can see I need help.
No. You have so much knowledge. It needs to be. This is what we've all struggled with. The second gens, the first, everybody. We don't have a platform where we're not going to be shut down. We're not going to be told, hey, part of your story isn't going to be told, or part of this isn't going to happen. No, every fucking detail of this matters, because then people will start to see, oh, I wouldn't accept that for my own child. Oh, okay. Now you're listening because you heard about the spankings, or you weren't listening when you were like, well, the scheduling and the military like system seems fine. Oh, until you hear that they're manipulating you on how your child should be thinking and acting or behaving at a certain age. That's when it hits you. So yeah, there are gonna be points where people are like, well, that I got, at La Poubelle, oh, don't talk to me about rape. I got raped. Why are you going into a restaurant that supports rape, idiot? So it's just very clear to see who's actually on an already preconceived idea or thought or, choice, or people who are actually just exposing Scientology. That's what it is. These are the little outlets of Scientology. This is how they groom and suck their little predator and suck people into it without them calling it out, being directly like, oh, this is Scientology. Even at the testing center, they never say, come take a Scientology OCA test. They're gonna be like, no, I don't know about any Scientology tests. They say, come take a personality test. Like, there's so many dumb little tactics that are just changing and shaping. So like when people say, oh, they don't have the cadet org anymore, or they don't have kids in there, that's not true. They have other businesses, outlets called Applied Scholastics or children, whatever it is, where you are literally seeing children with their parents being like, this is the learning how to learn book, and this is the child communication. They're not in the Sea Org, but they're just doing it out here now.
And that's one of the things Miscavige, when I was would start going to these other countries and getting the way to happiness, or that
my dad was very good at that.
And all the police department is reading it. It's like, I remember sitting there going, who fucking cares?
Literally, or they would just hand them all out like, hey, look, it's a book about happiness, just basic precepts. And so you get all the fire department like, oh, yeah. And they would take that picture and explode it in this Scientology Sea Org organization, where it looks like, look, the fire department is on Scientology side. And then the fire department feels that way because all they get is a $100,000 little check every year from Scientology.
Were you alive in 9/11?
Yes, I was. Was I alive?
I don't know.
That's so cute. That means I'm like 20 or something, 21. Yes, I definitely was. I was in Clearwater in the Sea Org I just left the Int Ranch, and
do you know that they put the Dianetic hotline underneath Bush for mental health? Call the Dianetic hotline. They didn't say Dianetics. They just put the number up there. And I was online and I went, that's the fucking Dianetic hotline. And we all called the TV station and said, this is Scientology. This is Dianetics. This is not, they're against mental health 100%. So they took it right off. It was just,
oh my God, that's amazing. I was like, they better have taken it right off.
They did take it off. And then I called the number and this girl goes, Dianetics, modern science of mental health. And I said, are you fucking kidding me? How am I going to get mental health when you guys are 100% against
it? Right. And they don't say, they just say they're against psychiatry.
Right.
But psychiatry is mental health.
No, we're Dianetics, modern science of mental health. And I said, you know what? Start looking on the internet, babe, because, you are really getting scammed and you don't know it. But, that happened. That's a true thing that happened, where they're just so sleazebaggy, the way they do stuff like that. And I've said for years, if they would just stop doing the upper bridge, right? Because it doesn't work. Stop doing all the abuses, because those are awful and no one's ever going to shut up about them. we're never going to stop talking about them until they're shut down. Right?
Literally, and every aspect of it too. I have no problem with exposing every aspect of anything that Scientology is connected into, whatever they've sunk their little claws into.
Right.
That's where I'm gonna unprick it from right here. This little tiny restaurant called La Poubelle. Bloop, it has a whole thing it's connected to. So there's one. Here's two. You're no longer allowed to exist on our planet Earth. We want to make this a happy, peaceful, loving planet Earth. Get your claws out of it. Right? And on that note, guys, subscribe to Tory. We love her. She's amazing. Let me put it up one last time.
Go to YouTube. You just go to YouTube and just type in Tory Magoooooo 44. That's
right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Tory Magoooooo 44. And I bet you we'll go back and look, but I bet you have a bunch of new subscribers now. And then tomorrow, just so you know, or maybe also tomorrow, we should maybe invite people. Would you be down to maybe do a live Blue Building meetup? And do a live stream and do a little protest tomorrow at some point? What's your day tomorrow? Are you busy?
I have to look and see, but I think
that will be a surprise. Maybe at some point we're going to do that together. We'll both take a walk again and just do a live stream together down on both of our streams together down L. Ron Hubbard Way and all that.
Yeah.
Wow. What a good chat. I love you so much. This was so perfect and sweet.
Thank you
and
so
I'm going to
very
thank you. Yes, very fun, my dear darling.
Sister or mother, I guess I could be your mother. You know, it's like I'm old enough to be your mother. You could be my daughter.
Or you could be my aunt. Or you could be, that's what I mean. You feel like family to me. You feel like somebody that I'm like, oh, you've been through the shit. I could actually, I don't have the proper outside family that has been through stuff like that I could talk to.
There you go.
So it feels like that.
You do.
Like,
now you do. Aunt Tory.
Yes, exactly. Aunt Tory. My Aunt Tory is coming up on the next live stream soon, guys. Don't miss her too much. All right. Love you. Bye, Blow Drill. Thank you guys all for being here. Sid J, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mandy. You guys are all so sweet. We love you all.
And if there's any way you can put this on my YouTube site, is there any way you can or not?
Yeah, we can upload this whole video. I'll show you. We can just upload it so it's on your page at least, since we weren't able to live stream it. But we'll do all that tomorrow. I'll come meet up with you at some point.
All right, Munchkin.
All right, little Munchy Munch. I love you all. Everybody's waving. We love you all. I send you out with the learning and loving. We are learning and loving with you.